Hello, everyone. This is Andres Restart. I am joined by my good friend, Attack the Backlog. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, dude. I'm well. It's exciting times. I love that intro. Such a nice, chilled intro, and I like that. I'm awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me, my friend.
Yeah, dude. Quite the show that I'm still sifting through today. Which I think people should definitely check out. So for you guys who don't know, Attack the Backlog is a fellow Nintendo YouTuber, and today he put out his third podcast with our famous and perhaps favorite Nintendo leaker, Nash Weedle, where there were some interesting things that were said there. So I definitely recommend you check that out. And I don't want to go over every single little thing that you talked about on that podcast, because you watched the podcast for that, right? But I think we'll touch on some things there, right? Whatever you want to bring up.
Yeah, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about for sure. Like it's all right, no problem at all. Yeah, but I've seen too much of it because I've had 2 days writing subtitles for it, so I was glad to see the end of it. Mm-hmm. We can talk about any part of it. It's no problem. Definitely. Yeah, I guess a lot of people need to probably hear about the Zelda stuff, I imagine.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I'm actually only just now realizing that it's not linked in the description, but it's...
Oh, that's fine. It's fine.
It is now. It is now. So there it save. All right, hold on. Let me put text so people know. Attack
no problem.
The Backlog's most recent podcast. Also in parentheticals, please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Yeah,
I can subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I think as I like to do this, we'll be pretty flexible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of stuff I want to talk about. What was interesting, I was going to put out a Metroid video today. It was a long Metroid video. I recorded for over half an hour. Now, I cut it down, right? But it's
but when you get into it, man, like when you get into your theory videos, so they're always really exciting. So I'm glad, when I see a half an hour one, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be good.
This is gonna be a 27-minute hitter. It looks like. But it's gonna be like a Metroid hype discussion. For those that need a little bit of joy in their lives.
There's so much Metroid, man. It's so good.
It's also made. I'm gonna trying something with it. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be a little bit of an experiment. But I'm looking forward to it. It may come out. It's already recorded in the audio splice. I just gotta do background solution stuff. It may still take a while, but I was in the middle of working on that, and you put out your podcast earlier than I expected. And I was like, oh, there's some Zelda news. I should maybe focus on that first. So,
do you know what happened as well? Yeah. I just finished the subtitles maybe 5 a.m. my time, and then I left it because I did it on my laptop like an idiot. My laptop's not that fast at all, so it took I left it overnight just rendering, and then when I exported it, it took forever. And I realized watching it back, I left some typos, and I was like, oh man, if I fix the typos and then I re-export it, it's gonna take another 4 hours. And I didn't want to do that. I thought, you know what, it's fine. It's a few typos, I'll put it up. So, but it was, the subtitles were a killer. I always say to Nash, we got to try and make them shorter and shorter, our podcast, because it's a killer to write out subtitles for 90 minutes long. It's a mad one. But
is it a 1080p recording?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank God it's not 4K.
I know. Do you imagine? Oh my God.
Bro, it'll be over 100 gigabytes.
Yeah, no.
It's too long.
When it came out, I can't remember how big it was, but it was oh man, it was a killer. It was big enough that when I tried to export it twice, I couldn't do it because I ran out of disk space. So I was like, oh my God, man. I was and it was over a whole night of just writing subtitles, and I was just fed up. I had 3 hours sleep. I was I just want it up there, but
yeah, so I forget to check my disk space sometimes because I blitz through it.
Yeah,
so I gotta clean up stuff.
Same.
Yeah.
Always.
And horrible. I've been trying to do 4K stuff now, so it goes fast.
Yeah.
But also when I clear out videos that are already on YouTube, That's like 300 gigabytes, like right there. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I need the whole new PC setup for sure. Like, because I want to start doing 4K stuff as well, especially if we're doing reviews and streams of Switch 2 games now. So it's like, man, I have to jump on that 4K train. But I definitely need a new setup for it, for sure.
I mean, I don't know. Like, if your computer's working, I think you got a couple months
Until it breaks. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, I think it'd be good to do it once Prime 4 comes out,
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
probably a couple months from now. On that note, right? It's a recurring discussion. I'm going to talk about this right now, and then I'm going to come to the live chat, see how everyone's doing. By the way, let me know if everything's looking and sounding okay. I think it is. I think everything's fine. I think so, but let me know, and then I'll get to the chat in a bit here. But I wanna ask you, because it's a developing story, right? All the ratings have come out for Metroid Prime 4. Like, we had a couple that have come out over the last few months, right? But it was this past week, right, where it was like, I think it was Spain, like, I think definitely the United States, right? Like, we had the PEGI ratings coming out. I think there was a Brazilian one that came out. Like, they were dropping left and right. There were several. And so this is a sign, from what we understand, that the game's not only close to done. This is like, no, it's done.
Yeah, it's done.
Like, if it was 1 or 2 ratings, there's like, oh, maybe it's like at the 95%, to 99% range, right? Not be totally done, but close. This is, I mean, if it's just happening everywhere. Like, this is, we're here, right? Prime 4 is
they're waiting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely believe it's like in the November, December range. It has to be. I think there's still, because we've also seen all the posters of it, right? Where Nintendo's got it on the posters and it's still under, I think it says
everywhere. It's being listed everywhere for 2025. Yeah, everywhere.
Which I'm happy about. Like, I said that if I've always said, if it wasn't going to make the launch of the Switch 2, which I kind of wished it had, then I'd hope that it would be the holiday game, because I think it deserves
a holiday game.
A holiday game.
A holiday game.
Yeah. I think it deserves that push. It like, I will cry if at the end of it ends up selling another 3 million. But like, I agree with Nash, who says he's convinced this will be the biggest selling Metroid in the series, and I think I agree. Right. I think it's going to get all the hype behind it.
The thing is, it could sell 3.5 million copies.
still be
the And I mean, listen, 3.5 is great for many games, but with the thing with Metroid Prime 4, it's a very big, ambitious Nintendo title. It's
expensive.
It's a lot of resources, years. Like, 3.5 would probably be underwhelming. I think I remember talking to Kiwi Talks, and I may be misquoting here, but I want to say, again, I could be off, but I want to say he suggested, and he may not know fully either, right? But he has the contacts with Retro Studios and other devs, right? Like 5 million, would probably be better to hit to break even. So,
like, I asked Nash that, man, because a lot of people get a bit nervous now thinking about Metroid, because like, how many games that expensive can you support if they end up selling 2-3 million, especially this one that's been in development for so long. And then on top of that, the stuff that Nash is saying, that supposedly at some point they also began work on Prime 5, and then I don't know if you want to get in what he said in the podcast today, but that they've brought in more people as well, new additions, apparently important people. So like, Nintendo is putting a lot of money into Prime and supposedly Prime 5, and if Prime 4 comes out and, like you say, sells a 3.5, like, at what point does Nintendo say, we don't know if we're going to carry on giving this much of a budget to these games, or maybe carry on with the 2D Metroids? Maybe that's less expensive and it still sells 3.5 million.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing, though, right, is if they're already working on Prime 5, right, a lot of the legwork has been done with Prime 4.
Yes.
Yeah, so it won't be as expensive as a project to do.
True.
Won't take them nearly as long. So it's going to be a lot more cost effective to put out Prime 5, right? And even if Prime 5, and the idea is that Prime 5 builds on things, right? So let's say Prime 4 only sells 3.5 million. For the record, neither of us are predicting it's only selling 3.5 million. That's just like a hypothetical doomsday scenario, right? Sells 3.5 million. Prime 4, let's say it builds on things and it sells 4 million, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at that point, maybe like they're showing progress, right? And that would probably make them back a lot of money, right? Because it wouldn't have costed them as much as Prime 4.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And like, like that's something really interesting actually. When I asked him about whether he was worried about how much Metro would sell and what Nintendo's reaction would be, and he said something as though like, I mean, it was his opinion that Nintendo, not that it doesn't care about how much Metroid sells, but it doesn't worry about it selling 3-4 million because it loves the franchise, it loves what Retro has done with it, it's like proud of it, and so it kind of sees it as though they know they have these games like Zelda and Mario that sell the 20, 30, 40 million, and they know they can absorb that Metroid selling 3 million. They can absorb it because of the amount of profit they get from the other games, and so the Animal Crossing and Mario Karts. So from his point of view, the Nintendo's not worried. They obviously would want it to sell a lot more, of course, but
20 million, book it. It's the next
right.
Elden Ring. It's sci-fi Elden Ring. Let's go.
Yeah, but it's good that at least, hopefully, if he's right, that Retro Studios feel that support from Nintendo, and then they're not working stressed out 20-hour days thinking, man, this better sell 4, 5, 6 million. As long as Nintendo's happy with it and the game comes out, as we all hope, I suppose that is the important thing. But yeah, we all want it to be appreciated on a bigger level for sure.
Yeah. And I'll try and add to that. I think while the sales are important, it has more impact than just that, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
And I think Kiwi Talks has actually spoken to this point. He literally has. They look at Metroid as something that offers more variety to their overall range of games, right? It's a game that appeals to a more mature audience, and so there's value there, right? There are people who will stick around with Nintendo for Metroid Prime 4. And so the interesting thing about that is that Metroid Prime, if you just gauge Metroid Prime 4's profit gain just based off copies sold, that may not really be telling you the whole picture, because it also factors into just the overall marketing and image of Nintendo, and that there's value there, right? And then there's also value in whatever merchandising may be involved, or the bigger point I'm trying to make here, the audience that Nintendo gains with Metroid Prime 4, right? Because there will be some people who will buy a Switch 2 or keep a Switch 1 for Prime 4, but then also maybe play other games, buy other things on the console. And there's money to be made there as well, and that will be part of Prime 4. And then also, as we were kind of talking on, there's that, right? And then it's also, you got to think about building something, right? Maybe Prime 4 does only sell 3.5 million, but if Prime 5 sells 4 to 5, you're building something there. And then the Metroid series can continue to build and become something that has even greater potential. You don't build Rome, in a day, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And yeah, there's nuance to this.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I was thinking what you're saying, and it's so true. Like if you had another game that was selling 2.5 million over an expanded amount of time, it wouldn't have the recognition that Metroid has now. Like Metroid is seen as like one of the pillars of Nintendo. Like it's like Samus is instantly recognizable everywhere, and that does speak to the passion that fans have for it, but also how critically acclaimed it's always been as a series. And like you say, like on top of that, you will have game upon game that will build, from each other. So you've got the 3D Metroids, and of course, Metroid Dread and the other Metroid that Mercury Steam is supposedly working on. But then also, it's highly, highly likely that Nintendo will follow it up with, an animation, a movie, TV, whatever, and keep branching out. Maybe have something at the theme park. So, I do think that the next couple of years is going to be massive for Metroid, because we will get Metroid Prime 4. It looks like we're going to get a Prime 5. We're going to get another Metroid from Mercury Steam. We've got that book that we know about. I know that apparently there's a few other Metroid things as well, other than those. So it looks like for the next couple of years at least, it looks like Nintendo's really going to put a lot on the Metroid series and like really go for it. And I think they're going to succeed. I think I do. I feel a little bit different about it this time. Like there is, I don't know. You know, maybe.
So the climate now is far more hospitable for something like Metroid to succeed than it was back in the early 2000s, I would say. Because Nintendo actually pushed Metroid very hard into the 2000s. So we had in 2002 Metroid Prime, Metroid Fusion. A couple of years later, we had Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Prime 2. Then they had Metroid Prime Pinball, Metroid Prime Hunters, right? Then they had Metroid Prime 3, Metroid Prime Trilogy, Metroid Other M. And so there was actually, that's a lot of Metroid titles, right? And that all came up between 2002 and 2010. Or even 2009. I'm trying to remember if Other M's a 2009 or 2010 game. Let me double check. Other M release date.
Federation Force almost said, yeah, exactly. Federation Force.
Federation Force came a few years later. But yeah, that was something else. My only point is, you know, you had an 8-year span where there was several Metroid titles, right? They were averaging more than one Metroid release of some kind per year. There were years where there was 2, right? Because they were balancing between multiple platforms: the Game Boy Advance, the GameCube, the Wii, the DS, right? But they had several games come out during that period of time, some pretty high-profile titles, and the series saw. They weren't flops, right?
No.
They were good, but they weren't great. If anything, I would say Metroid Prime 3. I mean, Other M was like a bad game, right? So that one didn't really deserve this success.
I didn't mind it, you know. I know a lot of people hate, but I kind of liked it. I'll be honest. Like I didn't hate it. It was all right.
I bought it for $7 in a bargain bin. So, you know, it's kind of, I didn't spend the, what was it back then where games $50 normal, USD, right? So my perception of the game is very different because of that. But and there were some frustrating things about it, but I do think at the core of it, Other M has goodness to it. I agree.
Yeah.
But the point I wanted to get to though is that with Metroid Prime 3, that game sold like 1 million copies or something, and the Wii had sold over, you know, there's over 100 million Wiis out there, right? So it makes you wonder, like, how could only 1% of people buy one of the best games on the console?
It's insane. Like you said, one of the best games. One that was, I can't remember what the score was, Metacritic, but it was in the 90s for sure. It was one of the games that used the Motion Plus. Was it Motion Plus or just the Motion? I can't remember, but it used it
just
amazingly.
Normal motion controls. The Motion Plus came out later.
Yeah,
but still, it showed off motion controls really well.
Really well.
You could use Samus's the animation is really cool. You could there was shield pairing and you use a nunchuck a lot as well. And then obviously just pointer controls are just good. They were fast paced. Prime 3 arguably is one of the best showcases for motion controls outside of Wii Sports.
Absolutely. Because before then, people might forget, well, they might not forget, a lot of developers really did struggle with motion controls. You know, there was a whole thing with just, you know, the aim would spin and, you know, a lot of it was just kind of really gimmicky, but they narrowed it down really well. Like I would never spin in that game. Like the dead zone was like perfect for it. It was so accurate.
Very well balanced.
Oh man, it was so well done. Yes. But it sold like, just over 1 million, which is, it's just insane, you know, to think.
And the reason I get to this point, though, right, my overall point is that the climate back then was not so hospitable for the Metroid series to succeed as it is now. Yes, the Nintendo Wii sold over 100 million systems, but those 100 million users weren't playing hardcore Nintendo games.
Not at all.
They were playing Wii Sports, and then they forgot about it. They would buy Just Dance every couple of years, and that's it. They moved on to their iPhones and tablets.
Yeah.
It's very different now. The 150 million people that have a Switch actually play their games. The Nintendo is a very active ecosystem now. And the Switch 2 hopefully continues with that, but Prime 4 is coming out on both platforms. I would imagine that there's a far more active core base. And Prime 4, I do personally believe, with evidence to back, I would say that this is going to be Nintendo's premier title for the holidays. It's going to be their critical darling. And just for the record, I didn't tell you when I think it's coming out. I don't know if you've heard me kind of do my spiel yet, but
I don't think I've heard I don't think I've heard you say no when you thought it was going to come out.
So,
I think I just assumed you thought it would be a holiday, but no, I don't think I actually know.
Well, I mean, yeah, but when, right?
Well, yeah. What date?
Right. So I guess I've definitely said this before. Maybe this is a little bit of a spoiler for tomorrow. I've said this before. It's not a secret, but maybe I haven't really made sure everyone knows, right? But my belief is that Metroid Prime 4, and I feel really good about this, right? I don't know. No one's told me or anything like that. It's just what I believe based off what I think makes the most sense. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is coming out in either one of 2 days this year. It's one of 2 days. It's either, and keep in mind, Nintendo releases games on Thursdays now. So unless that changes,
you're gonna narrow it down to a day.
It's one of 2 days.
Oh damn!
One of 2 days. It's either coming out. Looking at my calendar here. The game is either coming out on October 30th or November 6th. It's one of those 2 days.
Why those 2 days?
All right, I'll explain. So if you look at the entire 8 years of Switch, I got the entire.
Oh, we're going deep. Oh, okay. Theory here.
Switch, Nintendo's. I like going to this page a lot because I think it's a good chronicle of just looking at how Nintendo's released their games, right? And all right, so the screen share here. I've shown this before, but the difference is what I'm highlighting. Okay, so Nintendo games, right? Keep in mind, this list here doesn't show everything. Like, you won't see Sparks of Hope, for example, or Shin Megami Tensei 5. Those games that are only published in certain regions, right? But the games that are widespread published from Nintendo, you'll see on this list. So, what I want to point out here. Why did I feel like? Oh, am I like? Okay, I think I'm back a page. That's why I'm confused. Okay. All right. So let's look at 2024. They had a game in the first week of November. Okay. Even though there was a game in December, there was a game in October. They had a game in the first week of November. All right. Go to 2023. They still had a game in November, but they still made sure to have a game in the first week of November, and there was a game mid-October, right? And keep in mind, there's another game in October. That's a whole other thing, but we've talked about that before. Nintendo has been known to publish 3 to 4 titles in the October-November period. That's nothing too new. Okay. But 2 years so far, the last 2 years, first week of November. Okay, so let's go to 2022. In 2022, we had a Halloween game. That last week of October, Bayonetta 3. Okay.
Awesome game.
Okay. All right, now go to 2021, right? In 2021, basically a Halloween game, Mario Party Superstars, last week of October.
Yeah.
Still had a game in November, still had another game in October in Dread. Okay, now we go to 2020. Pandemic year, keep that in mind. Even then, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, big October release, still had a game in November as well. During the pandemic year, they made sure to have a game to hit that window of time. Go to 2019. In 2019, what was the Halloween game? Luigi's Mansion 3. Pokemon Sword and Shield came out a couple weeks later. Ring Fit Adventure came out a couple weeks beforehand. 2018, I think, is the one exception throughout the entire Switch era. They did not have a game come out in the last week of October or the first week of November. They still had multiple titles during that period of time. They actually published World Ends With You, Super Mario Party, and I just showed Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Smash Brothers, right? And then 2017, Mario Odyssey came out in the last week of October. And so 7 of 8 years, right, in the Switch era, even when there were games still coming out in October and November, as I said repeatedly, Nintendo's been known to publish 3 to 4 titles during that period of time, most years.
Absolutely.
But the point I'm making here is that 7 of the 8 years during the Switch era, Nintendo made sure to publish a game in either the last week of October or the first week of November. That is a time slot Nintendo likes to hit. And so we look at Nintendo's current release slate. Pokemon Legends ZA, interestingly, comes out 2 weeks before Halloween, October 16th, right? Well, October 3rd. Well, technically 15 days because, The October 30th falls one day beforehand. But my point is more than 2 weeks away from that point, right? And then Kirby Air Riders is deep into November 20th. That's actually a pretty late November release 20th. For Nintendo standards. Okay. So some people who don't pay attention to how Nintendo releases things think, oh, that's it. That's the 2 games for the October-November slot. But as I said repeatedly, Nintendo oftentimes publishes 3 to 4 titles per year during the October-November months. And this is the launch year of their next generation. If there's a time for Nintendo to dial back, it is not now, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm not here trying to argue they're going to publish 4 games in the October-November period, although that is certainly possible. What I am saying, though, is that looking at the last 8 years, 7 of those 8 years, there was a game in that either that last week of October or first week of November. That slot is completely vacant. They actually have 2 games like very far apart for the months. Like there's a really healthy window of time to have another major release there. And looking at the release slate, through process of elimination, there isn't really much left, right? So Toon Raiders, TBD. We don't know when that's coming out, right? Hyrule Age of Imprisonment, not even listed for this year. Might come out this year because it says technically winter, but that's up for debate, right? We already know about Kirby. We already know about Pokemon. So really the only thing that's left that's been announced is Metroid for 2025, right? But the other thing is that the Metroid Prime 1 through 3 visual retrospective, which is an official partnership with Nintendo, right? And piggyback. It's not like a fan thing. It's not a third party thing. This is an official collaboration. Was supposed to come out last June, was delayed, maybe because Prime 4 was initially planned to be a launch window title, but is now coming out October 28th in the same week during where we have this very curious vacancy where, historically speaking, Nintendo puts out a major release, and Metroid Prime 4 is the only game that makes sense out of everything that's currently announced. And obviously, based off all the ratings and all the repeated listings, it is coming out this year. So what makes the most sense? Nintendo putting out one of their biggest releases during their most popular release periods throughout history, or waiting all the way until December, where we're concerned that it may not get the full brunt of the holiday push, and also miss out on the Game Awards, which is a little bit extra marketing there.
That's exactly what I was going to say about the Game Awards as well, which some people might not think is a big thing, but if you're really proud of the game and you think it's got a chance to win Game of the Year, or at least get a lot of push
Prime
towards
4
it.
is going to be Nintendo's highest rated game
of the
year,
so,
most likely, at least based off all the other games from the series.
Yeah, and I know some people say that they don't tend to release a big game in December, but I'm pretty sure we've got big games before. I know we've got Smash Brothers 1 December. For sure.
Smash in 2018, Xenoblade 2 in 2017.
Yeah. So they release big games in December. So
Fitness Boxing 1 through 3. But
So, but I don't think it will be December. I think you're right. I think it will be October or November, and I lean towards November because what I lean. Why? Because of the supposed Metroid centered direct. So I'm thinking if we get the general direct next month and we get a date for Metroid Prime 4 and then we get a date for a Metroid Prime 4 direct, I imagine that would not be the same month. I imagine the Metroid direct would be at least October, right? And I think maybe if it's in October, maybe that gives enough time to then release it in November. And I can see that for sure.
I'm divided, right? If I have to pick between the two, I'm divided. Because on the one hand, Metroid does make a lot of sense for a Halloween themed game, right? Like Metroid has a lot of creepy, spooky,
absolutely,
alien vibes. Like it would certainly fit as a Halloween release. But I mean, spacing wise, I see what you're saying, right? Like maybe they want to wait for that Metroid Direct. And I think during the podcast, Nash mentioned that Tokyo Game Show is something to consider as well in September, right? But so then where do you place the Metroid Direct? Maybe early October, right?
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
Like it is this, or you also spreading out from Pokemon makes some sense. Like Metroid has a much better chance to not get overshadowed by Kirby Air Riders versus Pokemon Legends ZA. I think it's very different from both games, so there's not too much concern, right? Like 2 weeks is probably more than enough of a period of time. So there's arguments to be made, and I think I heard someone make the argument that Dragon Quest 1, like there's some sort of Dragon Quest game coming out in October. This year. I'm trying to remember which one. Is it the 1 and 2 remake?
Oh god, in my head I heard Dragon Quest Builders for a second. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Dragon,
so
yeah.
the one thing to consider though is that Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remakes, which
Yeah.
will be popular on Switch, even it's a third-party release, but it is releasing October 30th.
Yeah.
And that's going to dominate Japan. Now, granted, Metroid's not a strong seller in Japan in general, and it's also a third-party release, so there's Nintendo, like, Nintendo's going to march to the beat of their own drum.
Yeah.
But I can see how they could be like, oh, well, let's just have Metroid come out November 6th instead of October 30th.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of things, right? Like you said, like, Pokemon, and, if there is the Metroid Direct, but then also in September, the Mario anniversary, they shadow drop a game there as well. Like, what if they do shadow drop a Mario Galaxy? That's another huge game.
Yeah, that would be the September game, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they will shadow drop something. So I think they want to leave the runway. I mean, to be honest though, now you said it, I kind of would prefer the Halloween.
I mean, I think the Dragon Quest games are cool, but
they're not touching Metroid.
Like, to us, right? But Dragon Quest is huge.
It is huge.
It's huge.
But I feel like that's going to sell anyways, right? It's going to sell what it's going to sell.
I mean, sometimes, the fact you can't always be, I don't know, like, it's an argument that comes up a lot, and I do think sometimes you do want to steer your game away from certain releases, but also, like, there are so many games coming out in the year. There's more than 365 games that come out in a year, right? Like, you can't avoid every release. So at some point you just got to come out, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to make decisions, like, are you hurting yourself that much by coming out on October 30th alongside Dragon Quest, missing the Halloween period, which Metroid does fit really well in, and also losing another week leading up to the holidays, but then coming out November 6th, maybe you're more of taking the spotlight because there's not any other major releases during that period, but there probably still is something, right? Like, during the holidays, there are just big games coming out left and right, like, that's just what maybe, can I do a quick Google search, like, big games coming out?
Literally was about to ask you that. Like, what is even in the eShop? I was looking before we went live.
Releasing November 2025, or let me November 6th, 2025. Let's see what Google tells me. I don't know any of these. I see Europa, Windstorm, Cairn, Unbeatable, Goodnight Universe, Anno 117. What?
When is that? November 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. I feel like it's gonna be November. I feel like October, even at the end of October, which I would love it, it might just get too cramped with everything that comes before it. I mean, not that like a week or 2 weeks later is that much different, but it might be enough. So sometimes, a couple of weeks after a huge direct or a game release, sometimes 2 weeks is just enough anyways.
So The Outer Worlds 2 comes out October 29th. Dragon Quest 1 2 HD 2D Remake comes out October 30th. Those are games I'm like, okay, that's some competition. Then the first week of November, though, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know what Unbeatable is, but what is Unbeatable? Is that like a huge game I should know about?
I don't even know. But then also, like,
video game,
like, we know about Metroid as well, right? So it doesn't need like a long, media push behind it to like send it everywhere to ramp up the hype. Like, everyone's hyped for it, right? Like, of course they're gonna have to get the marketing machine behind it, but they won't need the regular run up. It's introducing a brand new game and and kind of starting from scratch. Like, people have been ready for this for a while now. So they can afford to show it at the direct in September, show its own direct again in October, and then that's it. Have it out a month, 6 weeks later, whatever it is.
The other thing to consider is, when are we getting Prime 2 and 3? Right?
I asked Nash that as well. Like, when the hell are we gonna get that? Could they shadow drop it?
Yeah, that's very shadow droppable.
For sure.
I'm putting a poll, and I've done like Prime 4 release date polls for a while, but this is more specific. Pick one: Prime 4 October 30th, Prime 4 November 6th. The thing is, the art book comes out that last week of October. So, like, what if Prime 2 and 3 come out that last week of October?
Easily could be done.
and then
Easily.
Prime 4 comes out like 10 days later or something. Like
Yeah.
maybe Prime 2 and 3 don't even like come out. I don't know. There's a few options. Like, what if? Okay, hear me out. What if there is an early October Metroid Prime 4 Direct, right? And they shall drop Prime 2 and 3, but physical versions of them come out late October alongside the art book, about a week before Prime 4 comes out, beginning of November.
You know what? I need to go back and watch the podcast, but I'm sure that's like word for word what Nash said. I'm pretty sure almost word for word. Like he said, like release them digital, then you can shadow drop them, and you can release them physical, and then you can release Prime 4.
That's how they handled Prime Remastered a little bit. They shadow dropped it in a direct, then 2 weeks later or later in the month they had a physical release. So you know.
I mean, you know, part of me thinks that would be so perfect, but then part of me is always waiting for Nintendo to disappoint me, and I think maybe they'll just shadow drop Metroid Prime 2 on the GameCube NSO, and then maybe that's what we'll get, and maybe later we'll get. You know,
my only problem with it is like Prime 3 just forget about it.
Forgotten about, and it makes no sense.
Just feel like,
but it'd be like Nintendo. It's like, but that makes no sense, Nintendo, and that's why I dread that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page, right? It's just kind of like, it's not that it's. I would love to get Prime 2 on GameCube NSO. I think that'd be fine, but then Prime 3, like the point of putting out Prime 2 before Prime 4 comes out is so people can play Prime 1, 2, and 3 before Prime 4. If you're only gonna do 2, it doesn't make any sense. Just wait until later into the Switch 2 era when we're like, hey, we want some Metroid love, then give it to us, right? So either you give us both or you wait to give us both.
Absolutely. And it makes sense also because presumably when they release 2 and 3, they would have added mouse controls.
Yeah.
So
I would think so.
That's the other reason to hold it back as well, or to keep.
You know, they can still do that on the NSO app though, because they added mouse controls to Mario Paint. So
you see what you've done? That's what they're gonna do now. They're just gonna add Metroid Prime 2 with mouse controls on the NSO. That's what they're gonna do.
And what are they gonna do? They're gonna add Metroid Prime 3 to GameCube NSO, even though it's a Wii game.
Well, someone asked a while ago on the podcast, like, when will we get DS and Wii games? And Nash thinks Wii games a lot sooner. I was like, yeah, but what, like 3-4 years down the line? We're gonna wait 3-4 years for Prime 3, like on the NSO app? I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't. So, I don't believe this, right? I think it's way too soon. But, you know. You announced Wii games next September for the September Nintendo Direct, because they have been known to make big NSO announcements in the Septembers, right? Because that's a round where people have to resubscribe, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's the other thing to consider though is that the price drop that there is going to be a price increase, right? So maybe they want to kind of try and balance that a little bit, and like, hey, so price is going up, but also here's Wii NSO, improve the value.
For this September, do you think? Imagine. Man,
I don't
imagine.
Yeah. I don't. It's a whole other thing. But let me get to the chat, because I haven't gotten to the chat yet. Right? We just did a whole Metroid segment. I feel pretty good about it. But let's.
You should clip your theory of the 2 days. I'm telling you, it's going to come in handy. You should clip that out and just post it.
I've said it. I've said it before. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I the whole clipping thing, it makes sense, but
it's effort.
I guess that's a whole. You're about to sidetrack me, so I'm gonna focus.
I can see it. Yeah. I can see your mind like thinking about it.
Yeah, scrolling through. Hello, everyone. Hello there, Kazoo. Hello there, Smiles. Hello there, Danny. Zave. Joycey J. Good to see you. Uberfos Booster. Ruby's actually right here. She's right there. I am not turning this camera, though, so she may come down at some point. Oh, I startled her. She was sleeping. I'm sorry, baby.
Mine, she sleeps like on the desk next to where my mic is sometimes when I'm streaming. Bless her.
Oh. Pokemon fan, hello there. Having Hope, good evening.
DG's in the chat as well. I know DG.
Boo Mini. What is up? Oh, we got a super chat. Chrono Rig with the first super chat of the evening. Thank you very much for the super chat. Now that Champions is the official VGC mode now, what do you think 10th gen multiplayer will look like? Just trading and light battling mode. So it's a Pokemon question for those who don't understand. And it's a good question. So yeah.
I was gonna say, don't ask me. Like I'm Pokemon's like the one franchise where I don't even.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about it. I have a hard time believing that they're going to abandon the primary battling mechanics in Gen 10. I think that's why you have the Legends game, so you can have like a separate series to experiment a little bit, which I love, by the way. I think that, I mean, they may be a little bit more open to experimentation with the battle system, but I think that the core of it is still going to be very translatable over to Pokemon Home and thus also Pokemon Champions. So I still think there would be, you still have your typical trading, you'd still have battling. But I guess it is interesting to wonder, like, are they going to have a in-depth kind of online battling system, or are you going to be expected to just do that on Champions? The thing is, Champions is going to be free, right? So it's kind of like there is it's free, right? So it's kind of like, oh, you want to play Pokemon multiplayer? You can. You just download the Champions because that's where it's done. And so I'll tell you this. This is what I do feel good about. We have seen a trajectory with the Pokemon series, the mainline series, where they're continually expanding upon the online connectivity and having more of a cooperative experience with your adventures. I think they will continue to build on that. In Scarlet and Violet, you could technically do most of the adventure with 3 of your friends together. I think they will build on that and make it more cohesive and perhaps make it more involved with like the mainline story and not just the separate side things as well. I can kind of see them going in that direction, focusing a little bit more on the cooperative play, which makes sense because you want to diversify the mainline game versus Champions, where you're going to be able to handle most of the multiplayer battles, right? So you can still take all the Pokemon you find and acquire in the mainline games into Champions, and you can still probably raise them there, but it's not necessary. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. They'll focus more on cooperative play, flesh that out. But there should still be light battling.
I wish I was into Pokemon. Like every so often, I feel like to jump in, but I don't know. It never grabs me. But then, like I see, like I've got friends and family members who like love it. Like love it.
Did you play Arceus?
No, actually, that's one of the ones I wish I jumped in. I have a friend.
I feel like that's one you would have actually liked.
Is that a good one?
I mean, you're a Zelda fan, right?
Sorry. Yeah.
But
then look. I feel like wasn't the consensus that it still hadn't moved or advanced as much as maybe people thought it would or should, or did it make a big enough stride in your opinion?
Arceus is fire.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, bloody hell.
It's a good game.
Oh man, all right.
It's challenging. Yeah. It's got some dark themes in the story. There's fun exploration. Like, yeah, maybe the graphics aren't like the best thing in the world, but is any Pokemon game outside of new Pokemon Snap? Oh, Pokemon Tournament looks pretty good for the time too. But of the mainline games, like they all got some sort of issues, right? But I actually think the cell shading and like it's kind of like Monster Hunter Rise, where you can explore these big sandboxes, like, and they're big. Like, some people might mistake it for like an open. It's not open world, right? But there are like 5 different maps that are huge. Like they're bigger than the maps in Donkey Kong Bonanza, for example. Yeah, to give you an idea. Like, so it's just fun exploration, catching Pokemon, fighting, good music. Like, it's a good game. Arceus is honestly my favorite game of the mainline Pokemon series in many, many years. And
literally ordering on Amazon as you're talking. I'm like, all right, I trust.
If there's any Pokemon game you're going to give a try, if you're a Zelda fan and you want to give a Pokemon game a try, Arceus is it. If you hate it, I'm sorry, but I mean,
ordered.
All right, that's it.
Apparently, I get it tomorrow by 10 p.m.
Nintendo, where's my commission?
Yeah. All right, this will be the first one I've played since like, oh my god, I was like, what, 12, like 1990 something. I think I don't even know which one it was. Like on the original, not original Game Boy Color. I think it was the last time I played a Pokemon.
Yeah. No. By the way, no gym leaders.
What do you mean?
I mean, there's no gym leaders in Arceus.
Well, what is it then?
I want my money back.
Oh, you told me now. Oh, wait, hold on. What was I just saying? Oh man, no. I'm gonna take your words. You look very excited.
I think you'll like it.
Okay,
it's not a normal Pokemon experience, right? Like there's more of a focus on the narrative, right? Exploration, actually focusing on building the Pokedex. You're building the first Pokedex, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like computerized. It's like scrolls, right? And like the Pokeballs are like Steam based. Like it's a very different feel. There are boss fights, right? There are some trainer battles. Like there's action. Don't get me wrong. There's actually a lot of action. It's not. It's just not structured in the same way as a normal Pokemon game. You'll see. You bought it.
I'm quite excited. Excited now. Yeah. Quite excited now. Be like entering something new like for a while. So I'll be okay. Cool.
Honestly, I think you're gonna not hate it. So
okay, let's go.
Yeah. I saw this comment from Wilberforce Rooster, and I think it deserves mention here. Wilberforce Rooster says, I like the theory that Mercury Steam is working on 2D Kid Icarus. That sounds fire.
Yeah.
Fire. Let's make it 2.5D to be clear. I just like Dread style, right? Like that would be good.
It's funny. Really I heard someone say the other day that they wished that Mercury Steam were doing a remake of Zelda 2, and that was equally like, I would love that.
That would be pretty epic too. Like, the thing is with Zelda 2, there's kind of like, I can see a game. Because Zelda 2, there is like almost like a. I haven't beaten Zelda 2, to be clear. It's like the only Zelda game I haven't beaten.
It's so hard though.
It's extremely difficult, but there's kind of like, from what I understand, a little bit of a nuance to the combat system, right? Like you have to kind of like space yourself and timing.
Yeah.
Like it would be really interesting to see them build a modern game, with those combat mechanics in mind, right? Maybe offer some different tricks and techniques, but like it would probably feel very different to anything else we see today, right?
That's why they should do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it would be.
Yeah. I think
that cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think supposedly Mercury Steam is working on another Metroid, though. I tried to poke Nash about it a while ago. I think he knows, but because I asked him whether it was a new Metroid or whether it was
a remake.
Maybe they were working on a remake of Super Metroid.
Now, I hope it's that one.
I hope it's that so bad, but he didn't give nothing away. But I'm pretty sure he knows. But he did say they're definitely working on another Metroid game. That's what they're working on now. Yeah, I think he said something in a podcast, and I didn't click until afterwards because there was a whole thing about, and I don't know if you got to this part yet, but where Nintendo were having a lot of meetings at Gamescom. Like Nintendo sent over some people, and they were having meetings with a bunch of people at Gamescom, and supposedly one of them was Davide Soliani, or at least his studio. But he mentioned that they had meetings with other people, and the only thing he said was like, if you think Europe, then it's quite easy to know who they had meetings with. And I couldn't think of it at the time, and I thought, of course, Mercury Steam were based in Spain, of course.
Yeah, that's in Europe.
Exactly, right? I'm like, I should know that. So and I didn't ask him. I literally was like, the next day, I thought, oh, hold on. So it'd be interesting to see what they were getting up to. But supposedly, they've been working on a Metroid for a while now. But Kid Icarus would be, man.
So I mean, it doesn't have to be Mercury Steam that makes it, right? Like,
anyway, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like
Platinum. Oof.
Like considering things realistically, I don't think you would want Mercury Steam to be the team to bring back a new Kid Icarus game, right? Like I think Mercury Steam, like this is not a Nintendo studio, right? This is a third party developer that Nintendo decided to work with, right? But first they had them work on a remake, right? There was a blueprint there, right? And so they proved themselves with that remake. Then with Nintendo involved, right, heavily, they made Metroid Dread. A brand new Metroid, and it was fantastic. One of the best games on Switch, I would say.
Love that game.
My point simply is though, with Kid Icarus, like that's a whole other beast. Like one, at least with 2D Metroid, there is already kind of like an understanding of what that would be, right? Like there's several examples of what a 2D Metroid would be like, right?
Yeah.
And they started with a remake. Kid Icarus, we have Kid Icarus Uprising, but that's a 3D Kid Icarus game, which by the way, they need to they need to do that. They need to go back to that, right? But if you're gonna go back to 2D, like we haven't had a 2D Kid Icarus since like Kid Icarus 2 on the Game Boy when I was born.
Yeah, exactly. And people been asking about it for a while, you know.
I'm in my early 30s, for the record, so it was a long time ago.
That's nothing, dude. I'm 42, man. 40. That's
really. I would never think it.
Oh, please. When you said 30s, man, you look so young. You look so sad when you said 30s. I was like, oh my God, what I would give to hear 30s. Like 42, everything hurts at 42. Everything does. Nothing's good. Nothing's good. I realize I'm getting worse at games as well. My reaction speed and I'm realizing it now. The last few years when I'm playing shooters or anything that needs a quick response, I can tell my reaction speeds are definitely slower for sure. And it's just getting worse, man.
It's time to enter your training arc.
Yeah. Do you know what I do? Like when I play COD, and you're around the corner and you're about to go around the corner to shoot, and look and shoot. What I do is I'm around the corner and I begin shooting before I go around the corner, just in case someone's there, because I don't have the reaction speed to look, see, and shoot quick enough.
You think smarter. You make adjustments.
That's what you gotta do.
Yeah. Man, I still remember when because the current like Call of Duty system, like I know they've advanced it over the years, but I remember 2005 they first introduced it. They could shoot through walls and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is freaking crazy. You can do a little bit of that, right? If you know someone's around the corner, I don't think about it, right? But if there's a shallow wall, you can in theory shoot through that and start getting hits in.
That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. It's like Donkey Kong's like, oh, I don't have the dexterity to platform everywhere. I'll just smash through stuff. It's just.
I think it just takes practice, but I'm gonna tell you this, right? Because with Mario Odyssey, I think I just had more time back then. Back then I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna spend all day just trying to jump from this random platform to this other place that looks impossible. Now I'm like, damn it, man! The game's been out for over a month and I still haven't done my review. I really need to just get all of these bananas. Yeah.
So are you gonna do a review? Oh, that's interesting. Because
I wasn't sure if it would do well, and still not sure if it's gonna do well. But
no,
I got an idea. So
I had an idea to do it, and I approached Gamebird about it, and it was to do a review for it, but to film it in that what's that game? Chilling by the fire. And just film the discussion in that game and just do it like that. And he's like, oh, that's a great game. We should just do that. But I thought that'd be quite different, just chilling with some marshmallows on that game. But I'd be interested to see what you think about it for sure. I think I'm in the minority where it didn't hit me as much as I wanted it to, where everyone else really loves it. But
I'll say that I think it's a very good game.
I
think if Metroid Prime 4 gets delayed, it is Nintendo's best game of the year.
Yeah.
If Metroid Prime 4 gets delayed, and it's not getting delayed. So, but
oh my God, I think it's a very good game. Getting delayed.
I do. That's a whole other conversation. That review will come. I'm not saying when it will come, but it will come. Scrolling through the chat though. The M52. What evidence do we have of a Prime 5? Reminder, evidence is not proof, right? There's an important distinction to be made there. You can have evidence to support a claim or a belief or theory, right? And those are just things that help you to believe something or increase the likelihood of it being legitimate. Does not mean it is legitimate, right? The evidence we have, it makes sense.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Well, I mean, the main evidence is that Nash Weedle says it's happening, right? And
Yeah.
Nash Weedle is a leaker, right? Has leaked things. Not everyone wants to trust him. And I'm not here saying you should 100% trust him or anyone for that matter, right?
Absolutely.
But Nash Weedle, especially this year, has shown to have some pretty good sources, right? I mean, just recently, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was confirmed for Switch 2. He was the first person to say that game was coming to Switch 2. I remember he had a post literally on Twitter on June 1st. We covered it like a few days ago, right? And that's just the most recent thing. What was it? No Man's Sky Switch 2 edition for free, right? Prime 4 motion controls. Donkey Kong Bonanza, a 3D Donkey Kong game in the Switch 2 Direct as opposed to 3D Mario. If you didn't know about that, how would you predict that? You wouldn't. You just wouldn't. And so that's just a handful of things, right? But point is, like, outside of believing a leaker who's gotten things right, like, is there like any other like reason to believe that Prime 5 is in the works? We go back to the conversation we were having earlier. Prime 4 has been in development for over 8 years. We know this has been an expensive game, maybe the most expensive game Nintendo has ever put together, right? Definitely in that conversation. And so logically, it only makes sense that Nintendo would want to, do everything they can to maximize sales here, right? Like Retro Studios, they put a lot of work into the current engine that Metroid Prime 4 is running on. And so they've built something here. They have a groundwork for modern Metroid Prime. It makes sense to kind of take advantage of that.
And they hired a bunch of new people. And I actually, to that point, like that's one of the things Nash said actually in today's podcast, was that aside from the people they hired to jump on Prime 4, they're hiring a bunch of other people. I think apparently what he said was some really important people in September. And I thought, my understanding was that it would be to help with Prime 5, right? And if Prime 4 and 5 being made at the same time, it was to help that. He seems to think it's because, and he worded it in a weird way. I think he said it was because of either who they're hiring or how they're hiring, that he thought it was for a new game, a separate project. But he doesn't know. That's what he thinks. But it could be because if they are pushing ahead with Prime 5, or if they have been working on Prime 5 at the same time, they might need new people, right? I'm
all for Retro Studios expanding. I remember, I think Retro Studios is a great Nintendo studio. That the philosophies they have there are about maximizing quality and the attention to detail. They're one of the few Western developers that truly understand how to create that Nintendo magic. And so Nintendo should invest more into Retro Studios. One, just so you can have more studios to make more games, especially in this climate, right? Like you need to be expanding to continue the content output, right? Not be expecting your studios to just finish games more quickly, but to take their time, make them right. And so if you're going to do that, how do you make sure you have consistent lineup? Part of that is more partner projects. Part of that is a lot of remaster projects and remakes that don't take as long. But also part of that is just by having more teams and more people involved, right? So I definitely agree. And I would love it if Retro Studios could expand to the point where, yes, they continue to make high quality Metroid games. They become the Metroid Prime or 3D Metroid developer, but they don't have to only be doing 3D Metroid. Exactly. They can do more. I mean, you look at Next Level Games, they are the Luigi's Mansion developer, but they also just recently put out Mario Strikers.
Yeah.
So, maybe Retro Studios can get to that point where, they are known as the Metroid Prime developer, but every once in a while, they're going to have another game they put out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you say, it's funny. I was just thinking when you were talking that we know, because, right, we've grown up with Nintendo, so we will know that Metroid is made by Retro, not Nintendo. But like the level of polish of those games that, an outsider who just
Retro
knows
is Nintendo,
Samus as a Nintendo character would assume that it's made by Nintendo because the polish is so high in those games.
You mean like Nintendo of Japan?
Yes. Sorry, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because Retro is Nintendo.
Yes. But that, exactly. Nintendo of Japan team, yes.
Versus a Nintendo of America team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so I think that's what they would think. But and the other side of it is that it is so important to have a team like that creates something that is completely different to everything else we know about Nintendo, right? So the Zelda, the Mario, the Star Fox, and all that, that kind of more mature kind of side, right? So and like a lot of people I think used to compare Retro to Rare, and I was like, well, no, in the terms of quality, yes, but Rare would pump out games on the N64 like it's crazy.
Machine.
They just keep pumping out high quality, but like you said, if they do get more people and they can expand and they can work on multiple projects at that same quality, then that's going to be a massive win for Nintendo. Massive win. So yeah, I'm excited for it. It sounded like they were very important additions, supposedly. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I wonder what they would do next. We saw that canceled game that was like a music-based thing, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And there was that what was it, the Zelda
if we go back far enough, they worked on like a sheet game or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
that'll be interesting if they brought that back, for sure. Yeah. That would be crazy.
I think there was a canceled like Star Fox Armada project. I don't know if that was for Retro, but there's just been like some cool Nintendo projects that just never saw a light of day because, well, that's how it is. A lot of concepts don't get greenlit or don't make it all the way out because there's a lot of reasons why.
Yeah.
Scrolling through here, I think let's see. The chat's been pretty active. It's hard to keep up. Alma earlier was saying the art book kind of gives it away. I think it's definitely a very strong clue.
Yeah.
It's been staring at our faces for a long time. Yeah, it would be hilarious. Like I definitely think it has something to do with it for sure.
Do you imagine if tomorrow, or like some point in the next few weeks, they delayed the book till next year? Do you imagine? Like, it won't.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that.
Do you imagine that happens? No,
my brain. I think my brain will be going through the stages. I'd be in the denial stage of grief. Like, this doesn't mean Prime Force delayed. Don't worry. I think it would be a hit. Like, how do you delete an art book? All the arts existed. I don't like this. Art's existed already for the most part, right? Like, I don't know.
Down. We realized the last 20 pages were empty.
Yeah, it took us a while to reprint. Yeah, but let's move on a little bit. So I'm gonna ask you a little bit about your show, right? The part that I covered today, the Zelda stuff, right? Yeah. You guys didn't specifically state the 40th anniversary, right? But you talked about the possibility of it being tied to an anniversary, right?
Yeah. Do you know what?
Next year is Zelda's 40th.
Exactly. Because you
big
said
anniversary,
that to me,
yeah.
And I mentioned it. I said like, I mean, in Spanish it sounds a bit different because we say no as in like with the question. I know, like, isn't it like? Yeah. So I said, hold on, isn't it like Metroid? But Zelda's at 40th, and I could see Nash looking doubtful. So then I doubted myself, thinking, it must not be. So I started thinking about Ocarina, but I knew it was the 40th. So it has to be, and which kind of just makes this whole rumor have. I would say more
valid. Yeah. Right, because like he's hearing about these things without even thinking about the 40th anniversary. He's just like, hey, I heard that there's a series of Zelda announcements planned, right? And I saw this and I'm like, oh, this is a 40th anniversary. Yeah. That's exactly what this is, right? Yeah. And I almost felt bad like running with the headlines. Like, it's a 40th anniversary because they didn't say 40th anniversary, but like it is. It is. Yeah.
And I mentioned it to him afterwards, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't even realize it was the 40th." And he said the same thing. I was like, "Oh, damn! Well, that gives it more weight still." I was like, "I know," So, but yeah, he didn't clock at the time that he was talking about it. But yeah,
right. I think that's actually. I just want to clarify here. I think that's actually an interest. Like for those that like doubt Nash Weedle, I think that's like an interesting hint that like it's actually legitimate because. He's not like making Zelda stuff up because of 40th anniversary theories, right? Like, no, he was told that there are Zelda announcements planned, and he wasn't even like speculating about a 40th anniversary plan. Like, it's what he heard, so that's why he mentioned it, right? So I just found that interesting, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I think it's huge.
Like, because it could mean this is the thing. We can start to speculate on so many things that could pop up, right? Because there's so many things that we speculate about already. So there's obviously
Sure.
the movie probably gets shown at some point there. The wait for the HD versions of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, the supposed rumor of the Ocarina remake, a tease for the brand new Zelda, Hyrule Warriors. There's so many
Zelda Park expansion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the theme park exactly.
We've literally seen a photo from a little while ago already. I think it was in 2023. Like Aonuma at Super Nintendo World with Miyamoto and a whole bunch of other construction workers. They're wearing hard hats and they were clearly there for something. And if Aonuma's there, that has me thinking, okay, well, there's some, like, he's a Zelda series producer, right? Like he has a big say in what they do with Zelda. So
absolutely.
And also, like, logically speaking, like, the next step for Super Nintendo World after Donkey Kong would be Zelda.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it makes sense because what he says about it's starting off with Hyrule Warriors, because that has just winter. It doesn't say winter 2025. It says just winter. He thinks it'll come out. He thinks that's going to be a January game. I think I agree. I think I can see that being a January game and starting off the campaign.
If not December, if it's not coming out December, then yeah.
Yeah, that's why. That's why I think. And then I think the way he put it was that was Nintendo's almost plan, right? Their method is to have set dates throughout the year in the calendar that are going to be occupied with Zelda announcements, but almost to get you used to that happening, so that you're always looking ahead to the next announcement, so that you're always thinking Zelda. And that's the way he put it. Like they're going to be very definitive about it and very like, you know, like maybe
I want to share something with everyone, because I see some people in the chat. They're like, wait, what do you mean a Zelda Park? Well, maybe you guys missed this when we talked about it like 2 years ago, but this is a real photo that was taken down, by the way. Nintendo took this down from like an Instagram page or something. But this, can you see it? I'm making it smaller accidentally, but yeah.
Bottom right,
That's probably better.
Yeah.
This is that's Aonuma in the middle. Miyamoto's right next to him. They are at Epic Universe. That's where Super Nintendo World is at in Orlando. Like, they're clearly like the construction workers are talking to them about what they're going to do. So
it's like you said, like Miyamoto.
This is a leak, for just so we're clear. Like this is taken down by.
Yeah, and I think it's because Anuma's there. Like Miyamoto would be there if it was
for
Mario, whatever,
or Donkey Kong. Yeah,
exactly. But
not
Anuma's
Aonuma.
only going to be there if it's Zelda. So
yeah,
I think they knew what that picture said when they took it.
By the way, the back building has a whole bunch of Triforce symbols. And I'm going to say, I think that's just a coincidence. I'm pretty sure there are construction companies that use a Triforce symbol. So I think it's just a coincidence. Why would there be Triforce symbols on that? Like,
that's funny though.
It just wouldn't be. Yeah, it's just a coincidence. Yeah. But I mean, I think they could announce the park. Like, I don't know, like if we haven't seen like. So like for Donkey Kong, like we saw like little bits of it, like there was drone footage of them building it. Like maybe they could doing a good job of like hiding this stuff, right? But I feel like probably not going to see the Zelda Park open next year, but they could at least announce it, right? Because they announced the Donkey Kong Park well in advance, and they could announce it, show plans and things like that. So I wish this stuff happened faster. You know,
absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? The way he put it was that the marketing campaign would carry on throughout the whole year, right? So it's kind of like you're always gonna be like, what's going to be next? What's going to be next? But you know, like for me, it's like what I just keep thinking Ocarina remake. That's just what I think. That's what everyone wants. You know, it's I almost want that more. Like I can hold off on a brand new Zelda almost. Like you know, like we've got Breath of the Wild in Tears, close together, and we played them to death. And like I would almost hold off on the new Zelda just so I could get an Ocarina remake. Like I just, especially if they tinker with the art style and just out of curiosity to see what they do to it. But
so I noticed something, right? So when I saw this, right, like my mind went, all right, so this is like more reason to think Ocarina of Time remake is happening in 2026, right? Because he said several announcements. Like now Nash didn't say it's Ocarina of Time remake, right? But to me, I'm like, hey, there's no way you celebrate Zelda's 40th anniversary and don't have like a major game. Like, I mean, they could maybe cobble something else together, I guess. Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD.
That is the best Zelda game of all time, Twilight Princess. I just want to say.
I mean, it's good, but I have it on Wii U already. Like I want to.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, unless they're remaking it. All right. I mean, like, listen, like.
Oh yeah.
Hey, if gun to my head, Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess remake, I pick Ocarina of Time, right?
Yeah.
But if I have to pick Twilight Princess, I mean, I'd be like, all right, that's still freaking great. Like, I would like to see either remade, right? I lean Ocarina of Time. I don't. It's more than just lean. Like, it's because there's evidence to support it, right?
Yeah.
It's because we have the merchandising for Ocarina of Time, right? It's because Ocarina of Time's origin, right? It's the first 3D game. It has kind of like the OG look of Link, right? It's because we've literally seen Naonuma tease Ocarina of Time multiple times, right? These things have not happened for Twilight Princess, so I don't think they're remaking Twilight Princess, right? Not yet.
I hope they do.
Not yet.
Oh,
someday I think it has to happen, but yeah, I don't know. To the point though, like, when I hear, several announcements for Zelda, like there's some sort of Zelda campaign, obviously for the 40th anniversary, right? I mean, it gives me hope, like, because we've already talked about it, right? Like, Nash has reported the rumor, right? That, which to me is interesting because we were theorizing about it for years before the rumors started to happen, right? There is someone else who supposedly has had some context that could sort of support this stuff, but I haven't been able to get him on the podcast in a while. I won't say any more until I can get him on the show. But if I say his name, you know who I'm talking. A lot of Zelda fans will know who I'm talking about. Anyway, the point is though, is that like I was, from we heard of Nash Weedle though, is like, hey, they changed. Supposedly they went through like that significant visual redesign. Maybe a year and a half ago, maybe at this point it's almost 2 years ago. I'm kind of hoping, right? But like that would suggest that maybe it's going to take a while, right? I think it also has a little bit of implication that it is kind of ambitious if they're talking about like a visual redesign. Like this is no longer like a remaster. Like this has its own unique identity and style, right? And so if it's ambitious, which I think it kind of needs to be to bring in that Zelda audience for the Switch 2, it's going to take some time and effort. And so I've actually been entertaining the idea maybe it doesn't come out in 2026, but actually 2027 after the Zelda movie. And it would be kind of more like a Mario Wonder scenario where, there was Mario releases that saw boosted sales leading up to the Mario movie, right? But it was actually afterwards, that holiday following the Mario movie, where we got the mainline 2D Mario Wonder. As maybe Nintendo's plan would be to have a Zelda release after that, and maybe that's when we get our remake in 2027, which is a long time from now, to be honest, and also I would say a long time and fairly deep into the Switch 2's life cycle before a proper 3D Zelda adventure. I think that would be a long time. Like, but also they did give us Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition to start, which I don't think has nearly enough draw. Like we've seen sales of those games, and they're like pretty, like they're not even high up in the sales. Which, for the record, I had so many arguments about this, like well over a year ago when they were leaked from the code names, which were true. But I was telling people these are not a big deal. They are not going to sell. This is not a replacement for a remake, and the sales, as predicted, show that. Like, I have them. I'm glad they exist, but they're not needle movers. Not like a brand new Zelda release. Not even close.
No, especially not at the start of a console's life when everyone's looking specifically to play new things, and you got Mario Kart and the Cyberpunk and whatever else, and Donkey Kong. People had a Switch for 8 years. They just want to move on, and yeah, down the line maybe if they had shown a Switch 2 edition of Zelda, it could be like, oh, you had time to miss it. You had time to, you got used to the Switch 2 by that point. So it might have been a little bit different. But yeah, like I buy? I mean, I bought the upgrades, but I didn't really go back to them. But then, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm like you. I wasn't surprised they didn't sell. Wasn't surprised at all. I was maybe a bit surprised they sold as little as they did, but I didn't think they were gonna sell millions out.
It might have evergreen potential though, right? Where it's not so much that there's like a strong initial draw, but for people who didn't play them, right? And there's like, oh, there's a Switch 2 version, and they kind of, it's just something that when people buy the console are like, oh, that's Zelda. Okay.
Do you know what's interesting to me, especially with the remake, is that I'm sure you saw this interview. There was an interview with Anuma a while ago, and I think they probably even asked him about, maybe it was specifically about a remake, or about going to the old traditional Zelda form for a new Zelda in the future. And I can't remember exactly what he said word for word, but it was something like he thought that that he wouldn't go back to an older Zelda because he found them too limiting. I think that's the word he used, like limiting or limited. He used, right, that after expanding the world with how they have with Breath of the Wild and Tears, and the idea that you can build what you want and manipulate everything you want. The idea to him to then go back to a traditional Zelda seemed limiting to him, and that makes me think. That doesn't make me doubt that they'll do the Ocarina remake, but it makes me wonder if they'll try and almost change it in some way, almost make it a little Breath of the Wild in some kind of minute way. But because the other side of it is, I've always wondered. I haven't spoken to enough people about this, but I've always wondered what it would be like for someone whose first Zelda was Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom to go back and play an Ocarina or Twilight or Wind Waker. I wonder what they would think of those games, having played Breath of the Wild first. And therefore, would they be that excited about Ocarina unless it had elements that made it a little bit more like Breath of the Wild in the gameplay in some way? I don't know how, but in some way.
I think some people, I know Zelda fans that like first got in with Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and then fell in love with the rest of the series afterwards, right? Okay. But there is, those games have this, the older you go, the further back you go, the more poorly aged they are, right? Yeah. And I do feel like some people have got to at least notice that those limitations, right? That lack of freedom. I mean, because when Breath of the Wild came out, it wasn't even just Zelda that we looked at differently. It was just adventure games in general. Like, I remember it's like playing Horizon, and I'm like, oh, what's this yellow paint? That's stupid. That is so stupid. I hate it. They still do that stuff now, like with games. Like, that's a yellow paint. Oh, I cringe whenever I see that in games. It's so bad, in my opinion. And there's some great games that have it, but it's a terrible thing, in my opinion. I get it why they do it. It's kind of like, I get this. They're trying to make it kind of like the Red Barrel thing, like it's just like universally understood code, but it's not the same. No, it's not the same. Like when you're playing these games, you want to adventure, right? You don't want to feel like you're just being guided down a path.
Absolutely,
like you want to feel that freedom. You see a Red Barrel, that's just like, ooh, fun, right? You see yellow paint, I have to go this way. Okay, like, all right, I actually like going to museums, right?
Yeah.
But I hate the tours. I don't want to be told where to go. I want to do my own thing.
We'll cough.
I'm gonna get in trouble and go where I'm not supposed to go, right? And then when my friends is gonna be like, "No, come back!" Like that's me.
Have you ever been to like one of those, what they call them, like stately homes or like royal houses or something? And at some point they always have like a room that's got like a red rope. Yeah, you can't go, and I always wait, and I always kind of step over and see if I can go through and just see, like, I can never stick to what you're supposed to do. Fact,
I don't know if I said this publicly, this story, but so a couple of years ago, I went to a friend's wedding in PA, right?
Mm.
And I decided to stay at an Airbnb on my own, right? But this Airbnb was like a bed and breakfast, right?
Hmm.
In a manor, like a
Oh,
mini
damn.
mansion, right? So I was
By
like, oh,
yourself?
by myself. Well, there were other people there
Oh,
technically.
I thought you had the manor to yourself.
So no, so like there's a couple that owned the property and they
Yeah.
were there and they had at least one other person staying in one
Yeah.
of the rooms. There may have been a second person, but I'm not sure. Right. So like it was, there was enough rooms where they could like run, like, like a very simple bed and breakfast kind of thing. But it was a very big house, very big old house in the middle. I don't remember where in PA, but PA is mostly woods and hills, right? And mountains. Like, so this is like kind of almost middle of nowhere, right?
Oh,
like big, creepy, old house. And like I was by myself, right? So I didn't agree to like stay with anyone. And so like downstairs there was a room that was sectioned off, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah.
Except this room was massive, right? Like they were collectors of a whole bunch of like antiques and things. But there was one room that was just straight up a whole bunch of porcelain baby dolls in carriages.
Oh no. No. Oh no. Oh,
yeah.
It's disgusting. No.
Like, we're talking about, I was like in an old giant house with creaky floors, right? Like, this is, I should have been murdered.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or possessed or something. Man.
Anyway, yeah, I wanted to explore, but I had to be respectful.
Someone like just like got into.
I didn't want to. I don't want to give them a reason
now
to sneak into my room at night. And
what are they talking about?
yeah. It was a good time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, where were we?
What were we talking about? The Ocarina remake, and
yeah,
they could make it a little bit more Breath of the Wild, whether the old games are limited and all that kind of stuff.
I do remember. I mean, there have been multiple interviews that have been kind of along the lines of what you said. And I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a tough call. Because like, do you stay pure? Do you not? Right. Also, like, how far do you stray? Because at the end of the day, this would be a stopgap before the next proper new Zelda, right?
Yeah.
So how ambitious are we talking here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so that's a tough call. I want to, and I need to play this. I haven't played it yet, but from what I've seen and heard, I've played Resident Evil, right? Resident Evil is one of my favorite games ever, but I haven't played the Resident Evil 4 remake. Which is a little bit of a reimagining. There are some different gameplay segments. The core story and most of the levels are about the same, but visually totally redone. The layout's slightly different. There are some literally new areas and fights. And so like, could they go in that direction where it's a remake but with some reimagined elements?
I think so.
That would be cool.
That's where I lean.
But it wouldn't. But the thing is, like, we're not talking. I wouldn't expect them to have a massive open world like in Breath of the Wild. Like, I would expect it to be far smaller, right? Like, I'm not expecting to play this game for 100 hours for one campaign. Like, this would probably, I don't know, 30, 40. Like, it would be a smaller thing, and maybe possibly faster than the original game, just because of quality of life updates, faster loading, more streamlined gameplay, less annoying things, like, oh, I gotta go back into the menu to change my items. Oh, like just moving this block very slowly. Then I gotta go to the other side to move it slowly again. Oh, that's the wrong orientation. Let me redo that whole jazz. Like that's not fun, right? So like they could find ways to kind of simplify and streamline things like that. And so before you know it, like you shaved off 5 hours from the game, right? Even if you've added new content, it's not 100. It's not going to be a 100-hour experience. I really doubt that.
Nah, no way. No.
Unless you replay it.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I'm sure it. I'm convinced it's there. I'm convinced it's coming out. But I'm also convinced they're doing something unexpected with it for sure. I just don't know. I think it's more than just a reimagining of the art style and and graphical upgrade and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like they're adding something. I feel like they're doing something with the makeup of the game, and I just can't figure out what that could be. Because and Nash was very clear about that. Like when he first came out of the room, that he said, "Listen, like this, like you said, this is for like a long time. It's going to take a while. Like
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting.
I'm gonna be happy. That's all I know. When I see it, I'm gonna be running laps. It's gonna be magical.
Honestly, Garuda
Um,
Valley. Oh my
oh
god.
yeah, like I like just thinking like reorchestrated music,
Yeah.
right? Remixed, voice acting, perhaps.
Oh, it's,
You know?
yes. You see, stuff like that. I think they could do. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Like voice acting, even the way you cook your meals. Maybe they introduce that into Ocarina in some way. Like I don't know. Like you know, maybe, yeah, not like I don't expect that they're gonna let you climb
Stamina wheel.
everything or create whatever you want. You know,
Like
and
Skyward
you.
Sword had a stamina wheel, right? But you still, there were still limitations.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I think that's what they might try and do. It's just pure speculation, but I
like
can imagine them trying to almost merge them in some kind of way. I hope they don't do it too much because you still want it to
I
feel
mean,
like
I kind
Ocarina.
of like Echoes of Wisdom, the structure, right? Like
Yeah,
it's a little bit of an in between.
yeah,
Um, and like so, I kind of think about Ocarina of Time, like maybe you can still climb,
yeah,
right? But like there is a stamina wheel, and so you do have some limitation there, but it's not like, for example, you go to Lon Lon Ranch in the middle of Hyrule Field. There's not one entrance,
yeah,
right? Like you can, in theory, climb over, but it's a puzzle,
yeah,
or you can, in theory, climb over Hyrule Castle, but it's a puzzle. Or in some cases, like there are just natural barriers, right? It's not like, hey, the only way to
yeah.
get in is through this one hole. Like it's all there, you can see it,
Mm,
and maybe if you can find a way to climb over, you can. But it's not like, hey, we're gonna just let you climb over everything. That's it.
yeah,
Or you can air bike to everywhere. No, there's gonna be like certain natural limitations. And sometimes you may be able to sequence break, right? Maybe kind of like a little bit like Donkey Kong Bonanza.
yeah,
But overall, still gonna be constrained.
yeah. I kind of
Yeah.
do. If it was up to you, would you like? I mean, do you like the new? The new Zelda. What would you call it?
Formula?
Formula compared to the old ones, or would you like if it's up to you for the next Zelda, would you want another type of blueprint from Ocarina Tears or an updated?
I'm definitely open air.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Breath of the Wild was magical. I mean, I
Mhm.
really like Tears of the Kingdom as well. I mean, I think there's things about Tears of the Kingdom that are better than Breath of the Wild. I think the thing that holds back Tears of the Kingdom is just because it's set in the same exact
I think
land.
so. Yeah,
But if they were to make a totally new game, like new area, that would probably be the best game ever to me. Like so with a new art style, right? Some different mechanics, like I think that would be cool. Now, I think there are things that they need to kind of improve upon for the next Zelda game, and I think we've seen them make strides. Like I do think they made strides in terms of telling the story between Breath and Tears.
oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and so I want to see them continue to make more strides in that direction. Like the story is important. And so finding a way to tell that story within that open world, like, environment is yeah, like the open air world structure, like that there's a challenge there, but I think they're going to figure that out. I think they made dungeons better. Dungeons were better in Tears versus Breath.
Mm.
But there's still room to grow. So,
Yeah,
and I think they will do that. I also think like, they had a certain vision for Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom being a sequel, they kept certain things samey by
yeah.
design, right? I think with the next Zelda, it's going to feel a lot more different and refreshing. Ruby, I don't know if you guys caught Ruby.
I
He was
just
like
quite. Yeah.
zoomed down. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, like I think it's still going to be open. Like I want it to be open air. I think it will be open air, but I do think Nintendo will find a better marriage of the formulas that will appease a larger portion of the Zelda fan base.
Do you think the movie, when eventually we see it, will share that type of tone, like color palette and tone, or do you think
No.
it'll be more of a Ocarina type, almost The Witcher, not in terms of like mature and horror, but I mean that kind of color palette almost.
I mean, it's gonna be live action, so I don't know what you make of that. I mean, can it have? I actually like thinking of like The Hobbit.
Yeah,
movies.
so that's what I mean, right? That kind of Lord of the Rings,
Yeah,
Hobbit type
it's
of.
got like a little bit of like an ethereal, whimsical feel
Yeah,
to it, even though it's
yeah.
live action. I
Mm.
could see that, right? And there's still room for some serious tones, but it's gonna still they can still really just go in on the fantasy element. Witcher would be kind of like that's very dark.
That is very dark.
Yeah,
But
I
see,
still
if they
haven't
made a
seen
live action Twilight
I haven't played the
Princess,
games or seen the series, but I mean I've seen clips.
it's
So
not that great. I didn't think,
yeah.
but yeah, I kind of would. I think that ideally that's what I would love, like a live action Twilight Princess kind of tone. That would that'd be amazing. But yeah, we have to see it. Like it's clearly like I already can't wait for January. But then that's the other thing, right? Is that within all of that, within all of those supposed Zelda announcements throughout the year, supposedly we're still going to fit in a mainline Mario game, right? And everything else that comes along with Nintendo. Like,
It's a good
and if you
segue.
having Mario and Zelda there, almost bloody, I don't know.
I want to ask you guys a question, and I'm gonna throw this to the chat as well. So taking a look at the chat here, okay, so I'm gonna end the poll that was up. So I had asked 56 minutes ago with 117 votes, pick one, Prime for October 30th or Prime for November 6th. 62% said October 30th.
October.
We'll see. I feel like most people here want to play Prime 4, don't care about Dragon Quest 1 and 2, so they're like, it's fine. But in Japan, I think it would be the other way around. So next poll, does a big boy remaster of Mario Galaxy 2 suggest a new 3D Mario is further out? Did I type that right? Does a big boy remaster of Mario Galaxy 2 suggest a new 3D Mario is further out?
I mean, because that's the thing, right? Like,
it's the thing.
I don't think we're clearly not going to get a mainline Zelda game, next 3D Zelda game next year. So you think next year is going to be the year for Mario?
No. Oh, okay. I had put it in the wrong place and I copied and pasted and I pressed right click and I didn't see the paste option. So I was like, oh crap, I have to type this again. Nah, but we're good.
And it's got to be Galaxy 2 as well, though. It has to be, right? But I think, like I was talking to Nash about it. He's like, it just seems too perfect. It seems like it seems almost too obvious, like too like logical, But
so
like,
to be clear, when I say big boy remaster, like Metroid Prime 1 remaster is a big boy remaster.
Yeah.
Right. It has it's like people call it a remake. Like visually, it looks like a remake, right?
Yeah.
There are some quality of life updates. There's no new content really, so that kind of limits it a little bit. But it's significant. Or maybe like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, not X, because X has very, very subtle visual changes. But Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition, they revamped the visuals so significantly, it looks pretty much like a modern Xenoblade game. And then they added a 20-hour campaign, side campaign on top of that. So they added a lot of new content. They added a challenge mode, quality of life updates, and a visual overhaul. If for Mario Galaxy 2, it has a visual overhaul to make it look like a modern Mario game, right? Then they add new content, like, I don't know, like 30 more Yoshi stars or something, with motion, with obviously motion controls, but also like mouse controls.
Mouse control, yeah.
They sell that for like $60-$70 or something, right?
And then take it off the shelves next month.
Well, I mean, if they do that, then that would be wild. But like, if they do something like that, like I would then be like, all right, well, maybe this 3D Mario is not that close. Maybe this is kind of meant to be the holdover. Like what if like this Galaxy 2 remaster is kind of like the equivalent to the Ocarina of Time remake that we're talking about, right? Like what if, and this is just coming to me now, like what if Nintendo has had this plan this whole time? Like we're going to do Mario 40th anniversary stuff leading up to the Mario movie. There's going to be a big Mario game. but it's not going to be 3D Mario. It's going to be Galaxy 2 remastered or remade. Maybe it's remade, right? And then next year, we're going to have the Zelda 40th anniversary campaign. There's going to be a big remake game, Ocarina of Time, than the movie. You know, like what if like that's kind of what they're going for Mario, Zelda? I'm going to say that I don't think they're going to handle the anniversaries in the same way, right? Like I think it's fun to think that they'll repeat the pattern. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to do something for both, but it's going to be treated very differently.
Yeah, I think so. Oh God, yeah. I mean, maybe they've had this plan for a while. Like, a lot of people thought it was always strange that they didn't include Galaxy in the original 35th box set, right? That was always really strange, considering a lot of people prefer it to the first one. And even if they didn't, it was such a massive game that it was just so weird. It wasn't. I don't think they had this plan back then, but they obviously had some kind of plan for it. And then who knows how
it was like the one game that was just excluded from everything. Like it wasn't even. It's not even that Galaxy 2 was not in 3D All-Stars. If you go back and watch the Mario Anniversary Direct, they have this run-through of different Mario games, and they did them. They skipped Galaxy 2. Like, it's not even in that trailer. I mean, maybe that was by design because they didn't want to call to attention that the Galaxy 2 is just not in 3D All-Stars, right? So that maybe that was their choice there. But, it's just very interesting.
Yeah, but even if they'd done that, it means that they would have known that people would wonder where it is, and that people would care enough because it's a game that they love. So then they would know how much that game means to people. So where do they take it out?
Yes, but we should also keep in mind the team that puts the Direct together is not the people making decisions on what games are being made, right?
Yeah.
So even if the like marketing team or whoever is responsible for putting the Direct together, there are probably people that are like, oh, people probably won't react to this the right way. So let's just omit that, right? Like they don't have anything to do with who's making the choices and what games are being made. But like, I don't know. I just think about what's going on right now, though. It's just such a very curious fit because Galaxy 2 stars Yoshi, right? Like Yoshi, there's a lot of Yoshi stuff in Galaxy 2. Yoshi's not in Galaxy 1 at all. And we know Yoshi is playing a significant role with the next Mario movie because they literally tease Yoshi with the egg in the movie. And what's crazier is that the Universal website last year, I don't even know if it was last year, but a few months ago, right? Like they had listed the Mario movie with the title of Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Super Mario World is the name of the game that came out for Super Nintendo in 1991, where Yoshi debuted. Yoshi's on the cover, big part of the gameplay in that game. They've got more so on the Galaxy 2. So now we are in a situation where they've been sitting on Galaxy 2 all this time. The movie is going to be having to do with Yoshi. The title for the movie might be a rehash of Super Mario World. And now we have this rumor from Special Nick that Mario Galaxy 2 is getting remastered for the Mario's mate. He doesn't know for Mario's 40th anniversary. He just kind of assumes that it would be. He's just heard that Galaxy 2 is being remastered.
He's kind of like Galaxy 2 is being remade.
It's like similar. It's kind of similar to like, with Nash. Like he heard that Zelda things are happening next year.
Yeah.
And so, but he wasn't told it was for the 40th anniversary, but he kind of just connect the dots. Like,
it's gotta be though, man. It's gotta be. But then, like we said, I said, like as a joke song the other day, that what I would love is for them to actually do a remake of Super Mario World on Super Nintendo. Like I would love them to do something really special with that. I don't even know how, but because that game, as you said, is the game that introduced Yoshi. But then we also got that Yoshi game that got leaked. Was it Yoshi? I can't remember the code name it had. Yoshi Sunny or something like that. It had the code name. I think it was Nash who leaked that as well, wasn't it? I can't remember. It was a couple of months ago. But then I've been thinking a lot about the new Mario game as well and what that could be like, because I still think there's something to Bowser's Fury. I still think I always saw that as Nintendo testing a brand new Mario and almost testing the audience to see what they thought about it, how they played with it, how they reacted to it. It was just so weird that they attached it onto Mario 3D World as well. That it seems so weird. It's so completely different to that game that it doesn't fit. That I always wondered. I wonder if they're using this, and this is going to resemble in some way what the next Mario 3D is going to be. Oh no! I mean, there's so many things though. Like the next Luigi's Mansion. When does that show up? Star Fox is rumored. Like, I want my arms too. Like, where's my arms too?
How about thighs?
You know,
Ugly thighs.
yeah, thunder thighs. You know, I'm excited, man. Like when we hear all these rumors and all these bits of information come together, to me it's like it paints a really obvious picture that like Nintendo's got a definite plan, and you can imagine them with the calendar, and they've just got everything fitting in slowly. And we're here on the sidelines waiting, and all we see at the moment is like we don't know anything, right? So we're like, where are the games? Where are the games? Where are the announcements? You know, all we've got is an indie world, but you can see that they're probably in the background, confident. They're just slotting everything in. And we're going to get into a rhythm, kind of like the first year of the Switch 2, where it's like every 6 weeks we had something. And I think that's eventually what's going to happen. I think we're going to get a nice rhythm, and we're going to get big hitters. And like, I'm very excited about that. I do
kind of feel like currently they are really like letting the boat drag. Like, there's not a lot of wind right now behind the sail.
That's true.
I mean, listen, I don't want to say that numbers on the channel like tell me everything that's going on, because they don't, right? But like, it's kind of like last month, like I go back 2 months ago, things were like, right? And then like I see there's been a trajectory in terms of like just general. It's not just, it's across the board for everyone, right? Like there's a general kind of like a loss of an interest, right? And what's weird about that is that this is the first year of a new console. Like there should be more excitement. There should be more like going on. And right now, you know, like Nintendo's not saying much, right? Like the Kirby Air Riders Direct, the partner showcase, not really enough. To get people. It's not like the Switch 2 console itself. It's not like Mario Kart World and Bonanza. There's a different thing. And so I kind of wonder, like, what replaces that level of excitement? Now, at the same time, there's always the casual audience, right? That's not on the internet, right? Like, Nintendo thinks about them probably more so, like, you know, because that's where most of the money comes from. And so they probably just look at things from, you know, a more wider perspective and are just thinking, oh, things are fine, right? But I mean, when you account for the fact that prices are going up, they may have to raise more prices. Maybe that has something to do with it. Actually, maybe right now they're actually trying to hold back on some things because they would want them to come out once they have a little bit more understanding of where they're going to be, and they can kind of position things better. You know, like you don't want to put out something during a period of turmoil and then find out 2 months later that it actually would have been better to come out here. So they might be looking for just some stability. I mean, that's been part of the reason why people thought that they took this on to release the Switch 2, because they had the situation with the yen. And then they waited, and then now they have to deal with the tariffs, right? It's a whole other thing. But
it's funny, man. Like
that's the main point.
No, I think every time I think about what you just said about like the interest levels and that, and I think I was thinking about this the other day. It is curious because there's a lot of things that go with that, right? Is that so for example, even during the Switch 1, where in the first year, even aside from the fact that every 6 weeks or so we got a big Nintendo game, but we weren't really getting a lot of third parties, not until, you know, they saw that the Switch actually was going to sell, right? It was Nintendo games and a lot of indie games. Like the indie games supported it massively. But what we had was a brand new concept that was like so revolutionary, like to have this hybrid system. Like people forget now, like how crazy it was to see that trailer for the first time, like a hybrid console, just on the trailer, seeing it come out the dock and then instantly in your hand. The Joy-Cons clicking in for the first time, and then seeing someone passing it over to someone on a bench outside and playing tabletop mode was like insane to see at the time, right? And all this kind of stuff, and the fact that it came out with like one of the biggest games of all time. But that whole, I don't want to use the word gimmick, right? But that original IP of of the hybrid, of the Joy-Cons and all this kind of stuff. The way like they would even demonstrate snipper clips and stuff like that, and HD Rumble, like even milking a cow on 1-2 switch. All these moments, similar to the Wii, right, took over into like spaces that weren't even video games anymore. And so just general interest was so high, just across the board. And then now what we've got is a console like, by any measure, is vastly better, more powerful. We're going to get more third-party games. We should have, by the end of it, in another 6, 7, 8 years, probably a better library of games than the Switch. But what we're missing, or maybe what a lot of people are missing, is that wow factor, because we know what Joy-Cons are. We know what hybrid system is. We're just getting a better version. Now, we do have like minor tweaks. Like we got the mouse controls, and we're going to get maybe more with the camera stuff in the future. And I think
all of that is like not that much of a game changer.
I don't think it is either. Yeah. I think Nintendo thought it was going to be more than it is, I think.
Or maybe they didn't, but they just still try because they always got little things. Hey, like, this is.
I agree. I don't.
There's always something. Like for 3DS had augmented reality. Like it's like, hey, we got augmented reality for 3DS, or even just the 3D itself was like, it's not. It's something, but it's.
But like you know what, the 3DS. To me, I preferred it way more than the DS in terms of the library I had by the end. But it only sold half of the DS because it was just a 3D DS. So, but that's how only. But but again, it wasn't like the brand new innovation like when the Wii came out.
Do you think Switch 2 was only gonna be like a 3DS scenario?
That's what I've always said. I've almost even kind of been not surprised is the wrong word, but when I saw how much it's been selling, 6 million so far and more plus.
Strong start.
Massive start, right? And it has surprised me because of the price, the fact that it's not a brand new idea completely, all the negativity that people have thrown at it, the price, the screen, now dev kits, there's always like every week there's a brand new controversy being thrown at the Switch 2 that it's crazy to me that no matter what, it's still selling. And it could be A, because it's a brand new system, B, because the competition's not really challenging and all that kind of stuff. But I do think, and I do maintain, and I could easily be well wrong, but in my heart, I feel like it is going to be like a 3DS DS where it's going to sell about half or a bit more than half than the original Switch by the end.
Which disagree.
Would be like 80, 90 million, like, or 100 million, which is still, if it sells 100 million.
Oh, okay. All right. So when it starts getting to 100, it's a decent amount above half.
Halfway,
Like I think 100 is maybe closer. And I think it could still go above that. And I mean, I still think that's technically possible. Switch 2 could do better than Switch 1. I don't think it's written yet.
Yeah.
Right. But I do think the scenarios are different.
Yeah.
This kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. The DS, similar to the Wii, was a lightning in a bottle situation. It was a unique scenario where they introduced some new tech that really took off, right? And they brought in a lot of casuals that were there only temporarily. The 3DS was more of a hardcore-centric console, right? And so there is always going to be a drop-off. There would be, no matter how well 3DS is going to do, it was never going to be as successful as Nintendo DS. But then on top of that, the 3DS came out very poorly, very overpriced.
Yeah,
right. They had to drop the price very quickly. They introduced the ambassador program. There was not a strong lineup at first, and so these things, if 3DS was off to a rocky start, and it never had the potential to even come close to DS because of that scenario. Switch, on the other hand, is something that they can easily replicate because the audience they obtained with Switch, there's no reason they would go away with Switch 2. It's the same kind of people that want to continue playing games. And if anything, I think there's actually opportunity to expand because Switch 2, now there's some debate on this, right? But Switch 2 supposedly has more potential when it comes to third parties, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have game chat, the system's more powerful. And that's a whole other talking point we can get to. But you look at these scenarios, I think Switch 2 doesn't have as much limiting it. And then on top of that, Nintendo made sure to come out strong, right? So Switch 2 comes out strong, unlike 3DS. The audience can be replicated, and there's actually room for growth. So I wouldn't be so quick to say that Switch 2 is going to only sell half as much as Switch 1. That said, it is still a challenge. It is still an uphill battle to do as well as Switch because, I mean, that was the first, right? But, I mean, you look at Sony, most of their consoles always eclipse 100 million, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, man, we can never replicate our success. Like, no, they've just found an audience that they can get to. And I think the crazy thing about Switch, or the cool thing about Switch, is that it's a very similar scenario.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's absolutely correct. I've always said that about Sony. I've even almost said it almost as like grudgingly, in that's something sometimes Nintendo missed. Although I think you're right. I think they might have that now. Is that, and it's just to say that, yeah, Sony can almost release anything and it's going to eclipse 100 million. Like to me, it's insane that PS5 is sold. It's sold over 100 million now, isn't it? And to me, that's insane because I think that's one of this could sound bad. I think that's one of the worst consoles anyone's ever released. I don't mean in terms of specs and power, but I mean in terms of like promises not fulfilled, the amount of exclusive that landed on the game, and the kind of I don't even know, what would you say, media coverage it got, everything. It's just I think it's just I just don't think it's a good console. It's actually surprised me it sold that much, but it has that audience that is always there for them, where and it makes me think about third party support for Nintendo consoles, where whenever Microsoft and Sony release a machine, they can always count on third parties. Where Nintendo, it always seems as doesn't matter how successful the machine before might have been, they still have to play that game with third parties of wait and see if our console sells X amount before we'll support you. But maybe that's changing. Like I spoke about the other day where I always forget the developer's name, but the guys behind Ori, who were talking about their next game skipping the Xbox and jumping on the Switch 2 instead, because obviously the Xbox is selling very, very bad. So like maybe now things are changing that way, that the Switch 2 actually is powerful enough that we can see these games. And then don't forget also, there's like a massive rumor that we're supposedly going to get a DLSS upgrade at the end of this year, and that we'll start seeing games using them next year.
Yeah, I feel like we're not really seeing those benefits right now.
Not yet, no, definitely not.
Like Cyberpunk supposedly uses it, but that's also because Cyberpunk was made with DLSS beforehand, before Switch 2. These other games have not been. And so I look at games like Chronos, The New Dawn, and I'm like, okay, I saw the Switch 2 version. It looks a little fuzz. It looks like it needs some DLSS. Yeah, like it needs some DLSS to clean up the aliasing and the fuzziness. Yeah. And then it would look great. Yeah. But it doesn't have it.
No, exactly. Yeah. And even Cyberpunk, that's the thing, because Cyberpunk apparently they're going to benefit from the DLSS upgrade, because they are using it, but they're going to it's going to get patched up when the new DLSS upgrade arrives, supposedly. So I think it's meant to be next year when you start seeing games across the board,
right? Because the patch comes out now, right, for the dev kits and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's going to be, because we're seeing again. I was talking about negative things being thrown at the Switch too. This week again, we've seen all the Elden Ring stuff, Borderlands 4, so, like a lot of talk about how a third-party game is going to run on Switch 2. Like a lot of people are nervous about that, especially looking forward. Right, the next Assassin's Creed. How is Call of Duty going to run? I think it's going to be fine, but there is a lot of negative.
I'm glad you're bringing these things up, because I've seen a few things in the chat. That I want to address. So let's no, it's cool. You've been doing a great job of like helping me to segue, right? Like we were talking about Zelda, you brought up Mars, like, oh, interesting, you brought up Mars. Let's move on to Mario. And now you bring up third party stuff, like, oh, interesting, you brought up third party stuff. A lot of people in the chat are talking about third party stuff. Let's use that to like wrap up the show. So we're gonna focus on Q&A now to like close things out for tonight. But I see you guys bring up third party stuff, so that's what we're gonna kind of get to here. So I'm looking through the chat, and I'm honest here, says, will Metroid get a 40 next year? I hope it sells at least 40 copies next year. I know you're talking about the 40th anniversary. We might see like a social media mention. I don't think they're gonna do any sort of big plan for it. No, I think Metroid Prime 4 this year is the big celebration of Metroid. But there'll be a mention probably, like they do for most of their franchises. Like it'll be like on Nintendo today, it's like, oh, today's the 40th anniversary. This is when Metroid 1 came out or something. So nothing too crazy.
No, let's be careful how I phrase this. I know Nash has got more stuff to do with Metroid that he's gonna talk about one day. I don't know what it is, but well, I don't. He's gonna. I know there's more Metroid stuff out there that he one day he's
Amen. Amen. I would love if they had a 40th anniversary Super Metroid release.
It's nothing to do with that. But when you said that, and I have no idea, by the way, what it is, other than I know there's something else Metroid related, but he's going to talk about it in his own time. But when you said that, it's made me wonder, oh, okay, like there is a lot of Metroid things coming now. Maybe they actually will do more for Metroid anniversary that they've done in the past.
Yeah, maybe they could.
Hopefully, because
yeah.
When was the last one? Was it the first?
I mean, I guess the thing is, if there's something Metroid coming out next year, might as well just slap 40th anniversary on that thing, you know? Like, why not?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what if it's just like Prime 4 DLC, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But either way, I mean, I think we're both on the same page. We feel like Nintendo is going to be supporting Metroid consistently moving forward. Does that mean there's another release next year? I don't know. Right? I'm just worried about Prime 4 right now.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I do agree that there's more on the way and not far off. Connor added me, Andres and ATB, I'm still hoping in the September Nintendo Direct we get a double pack of Triple Deluxe and Planet Robot for Switch and Switch 2. I think I'm more focused on Forgotten Land expansion that comes out this week, and then Air Riders. But we'll see. I mean, Robot's still rumored, hasn't come out yet, but maybe someday. All right, so this is getting to some of the third-party stuff. Jancock here says, so where's COD on Switch 2? Did Microsoft lie? And then IR follows up and says, I don't think Switch 2 will be able to run COD. And so, firstly, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Prior gen consoles. The Switch 2, we know, is more powerful than those consoles. It's not a rumor, it's not speculation.
Fact.
We know for a fact it is, right? The Switch could run games on PS4. Not well, but it could. The Switch 2 is more powerful than a PlayStation 4. You know, we're seeing that, like, for example, I mean, it's running games that just weren't made for PS4 already, right? We have
even Cyberpunk. Like Cyberpunk, you've got the DLC that didn't even come to PS4 because CD Projekt Red said they wouldn't run on it. So it's clearly more powerful. It's clearly more powerful.
Yeah, and so if COD's coming to those weaker consoles, this is not a power issue, right? Actually, in fact, all this conversation about like games not running well, it's not really a power issue. It's games are complicated. Console just came out. Developers still getting used to the console. Dev kits are still getting out there. Patches need to be done. There's just a lot more nuance to the situation. Right?
Yeah. I've always said, like, on the Switch 2, you're going to see... I feel like this is the time where you're really going to see which developers put in the work and which don't, and which are, you know, more talented than others. Like, I think you're going to see... You're going to learn a lot about certain developers when it comes to ports on the Switch 2, I feel like.
Yeah. No, for sure. So we actually see here, I'm glad, Lex here asked, what happened to Elden Ring on Switch 2? So... because that was a big talking point.
Oh yeah,
this week,
I've
right?
actually, do you know, like, I don't know if you know, it was Marcel D who uploaded that first footage. It was like the first one that got got uploaded on YouTube, and he was playing.
Which one are we talking about? We're talking about the dot from MD14.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've got an interview, or we're going to record a video on Thursday. Yeah, this Thursday to talk about that, because I wanted to talk to him and see exactly what he thought playing it firsthand himself. But I don't know what you thought about the videos when you said, but when I saw like the doc video, I thought it was fine. I mean,
Elden Ring.
Sorry?
It looked like Elden Ring.
It looked like Elden Ring, and like, I'm not saying it looked perfect. Like, it dropped some frames, but it was hovering on 30, like, for sure.
I mean, you look at the first trailer for Elden Ring back in April, like it's rough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it does still look like Elden Ring.
Yeah. And like, so I estimated that it seemed to be running between 25 and 30 docked. Like some of it, like you can tell it's hovering 30 already. Again,
and the thing is, the issues are being exaggerated because, first of
sure.
all, From Software games always have issues, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of part of the allure.
Yeah.
First off, it's a little bit of a joke, but I mean, also true.
Yeah.
But also Elden Ring, when it came out on other platforms, including PlayStation 5 and PC, had frame rate issues.
Yeah.
This is not even the final release version of for Switch 2.
That's the other thing. We don't even have a release date. We literally don't even have a release date, you know. And in regards to like the handheld footage, like again, there is no way any of that handheld footage I've seen is 15 FPS. There's just, it's not even close. You know, 2025, yeah, that needs to improve. Of course, it needs to improve. But again, there's no date set for it. Like, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's an early build of the game. They clearly know that work needs to be done on it. But after hearing all the reports,
there to still be frame rate issues when it comes out.
Yeah,
but
and it's not using DLSS. That's the thing, right? Either. So you know, who knows why? But yeah, no, like I don't know. The weird headlines that I've seen like pop up on YouTube, like from big publications with like words like unplayable and disaster. I'm like, oh, like what?
So I just think it's funny because like I definitely get demonized so much for titles I make, and like I anguish over some of the decisions I make, right? Like, and I'm like, okay, what should I do or say? And now people get mad if I put leak ? Which I don't think is wrong in the slightest, but now I'm a son of a bitch if I say that. That's a whole other thing, right?
I agree, man.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna table that. That I don't know if that tirade is gonna happen before we close out tonight, or if the tirade is gonna be its own video, or if it's gonna be my final moment on YouTube where I'm like, listen, I hate everyone. I'm leaving forever. Right? Let me explain some things and make it crystal clear for you all.
Yeah.
Also, here's a dictionary. But then, let me table that. What was I? I'm just fuming right now.
No, I agree, man. I agree. I get bad comments as well. I'm just like, it's when people like go out their ways to like write mad stuff, and I'm like, all right, surely you had something better that day planned, you know? Like to watch videos.
If people are saying shit like that,
yeah.
For like, you gotta think about like, would you ever say that to anyone ever?
Do you know what I mean? And yet go out of your way to type it on a video that you don't want to watch but click on anyways. It's like, what are you doing with your life? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the whole other thing.
No,
but the point I want to get to is that like negativity sells a lot. Like a lot. That's why I brought up, like, you know, people get mad at me for saying things that are objectively true for the record, right? But there's room for interpretation. There are a lot of people who are just like, oh, let's ride the negativity wave. Let's spin it because we know it's going to get views. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. I would love to see like an average of like YouTube content of like, you know, positive Switch content and like negative, like rage baiting Switch content, and see like, you know, how it matches up, because I clicked on one video once.
Negativity does the best.
Yeah, it must do. It must do. I see crazy numbers. I was on someone's, like in the chat in someone's podcast. It might be a Nintendo Prime, and they were talking about this dude who just like spills negativity. Some guy dressed in a banana. I was like, who the hell is this dude dressed in a banana, man? And he's just like dissing like anything Nintendo content creators. I'm like, no, you can't. Surely you had something better to do than to plan your day around just spewing negativity, you know? But yeah, with the Elden Ring, I was really surprised. I saw so many headlines, so many videos, or not videos, headlines and stories. And so when I saw the footage, I was expecting to see something a lot worse than what I saw. Like, docked seemed fine. Not like, I wouldn't say it's fine if that's how it came out on release. Obviously, like it needs work, clearly. Same as a handheld, clearly. But it didn't make me think, oh, there's no way this game's getting fixed. I thought, no, this game will probably get fixed.
I also don't like how like one game having issues means that all games are impossible.
Yeah,
Like
that's the thing.
so first off, we already have Cyberpunk, a great version of the game,
Yeah.
right? But also the story of Gamescom, the positive story. This is the really interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there's hype for 7 Remake, but the story that's dominating is Elden Ring running poorly, and not that Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade is freaking incredible on
Yeah,
Switch 2.
looks
Right?
amazing. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Like I want to do a comparison because I was looking at it, I was like, huh, this looks really good. Like this
Yeah.
looks better than I thought it would look.
Yeah.
And apparently there's also like confirmed well, I'll stick with apparently because according to Nintendo Life, the reps there told me it was running at 40 FPS, which led to Felix from Nintendo Life being confused that it was running at 60.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's certainly possible for Switch 2 to run games at 40 FPS in handheld mode because the screen has VRR, like it goes up to 120. So like that's kind of part of the point. Yeah. So 7 Remake Intergrade, which is not on PlayStation 4, from what I'm mistaken, like that's the enhanced, visually improved version of 7 Remake, which was already a good looking game on PlayStation 4. This is the version that's on Switch 2, and it has a 40 FPS mode.
Yeah, and even on Cyberpunk is using like PS5 assets, not using last gen assets. It's using new gen assets. Like we have we have actual developers who've got the dev kit who came out in like plain English and said basically anything that runs on the Series S can run on the Switch 2. They literally said it's like in between, right? Like it's clearly more powerful than the PS4. They stated it. They said anything that runs 60 FPS on Series S can easily be ported over. They even said anything that runs at 30 FPS on Series S can still be ported over, just needs to be optimized more. Like that's
right. The implication is it'll be 30 on Switch 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be like the easy port, right? 60 FPS on Series S or 30 on Switch 2. But that's an actual developer working on a game with a dev kit. But everyone ignores that and they listen to like rage baiters instead. And it's like, come on, like you got to be smarter, man. You have to. So
yeah,
no. It's funny because, like you said, now there's all this nervousness of, well, how's it going to run Call of Duty? How's it going to run the next Assassin's Creed? How's it going to? I'm like, well, it will run. Like if they're a good developer, they will make it run, and they'll make it run well. So yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about third parties in the future at all. At all. I think we're going to get some crazy, especially when we start seeing games built from the ground up. Like people talk about Elden Ring. Dustbloods.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for maybe an exclusive Monster Hunter for Switch 2. Like, I've kind of given. I mean, Wilds can still come to Switch 2, but like, I'm almost like, you know what? Let's just get that exclusively ground up made Monster Hunter on Switch 2. Like that'd be great to see.
Do you know,
yeah.
I like a lot of people are like, asking for, and I think we'll get the old Resident Evil games, right? The remakes of 2 and 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. And I do think we'll get 9 for sure, just because it's Capcom. I think that 9 will come over. But I kind of would like almost more, because I think it'd be more special to get an exclusive of Resident Evil Revelations 3. That kind of sits with me quite nicely.
Right. I would rather it be called Resident Evil Leon S. Kennedy Adventures.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I think he's the one that most Nintendo fans like relate to because, Resident Evil 4 was on GameCube first, right? And that he was the star of the show. Like that Resident Evil 4 has kind of like changed the future of the series, right? Like that's like that became the blueprint for Resident Evil for many years until what was it? The one in the house.
7.
Yeah.
5 and 6 were the same kind of thing, and then 7 changed.
Yeah, exactly. But even still, like, because they went to the first person style.
And because 4, 5, and 6 kind of became more action horror, and then I feel like 7 went a little bit more kind of survival horror, like a little less actiony. But yeah, man, I remember like when Resident Evil 4 came out on the GameCube. Oh my god, that was a sight. That was such a sight. People forget that's the other thing, right? A lot of people forget because a lot of people now are like young gamers, right? Maybe teens, early 20s. And so the image they have of Nintendo is kind of like weaker hardware. But people forget, like on the Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube was quite a lot more powerful than the PS2. Like if you see the versions of Resident Evil 4 side by side, gee, man, there's a difference. It's
like PS2 version 3 branches. GameCube version 17.
Yeah, honestly, it was a
Yeah.
huge. Like, it was way more powerful, but it looked like this cute little purple box that people, and it didn't sell very well. But Nintendo used to they used to pump out power. It's from the Wii onwards that they kind of changed their philosophy.
Right.
But
For sure. Shout outs to Django. Thank you, Django. I appreciate the super chat there. Very much appreciated. So I guess I'm gonna do a minute. I don't even know if I'm gonna call it a tirade. I think I've already calmed down, but I just want to say that I take issue with the recent shift in the narrative of like rumor versus leak culture. I don't really think the beat 'em up situation was at all illuminating, was at all good for anything.
no.
All I think it did was muddy the waters, and it was just a really. I mean, listen, I get that. Like, I don't watch beat 'em ups that much, but like from what I have seen, he's not one who reports things, right? He's not one that provides a lot of info or shares, and I get that. And so like the way he goes about things is not the same as like, a lot of other content creators that are reporting on things. Like, I mean, you and I will talk about things that happen or rumors, right? And so like we got to be honest, right? Like we stop being honest.
Yeah.
What's the point? Our integrity is gone. Like, what's the point of listening to us, right? Like, we have to be honest, right? Because we're reporting on things. Now, I mean, that's not the only thing we do, right? But honesty is 100%. I mean, first off, just from an ethical perspective, I think you should always be honest, right?
Yeah.
But like from a professionalism perspective, also have to always be honest, or else why trust a product, right? In the case of beat 'em ups, people don't watch him for information, right? At all, right? People watch him for fun. He just does stuff, right? And so I understand that there's a little bit of a differentiating factor here, but from a purely ethical perspective, lying, I don't think there's no way you spin that to be okay.
Nah,
right?
not
at all. So I think that's a huge problem, right? That he lied about it. I don't think he realized how bad it was going to be, right? But the other thing is that he does have a podcast, and I do know his podcast. He does do rumors. He doesn't. Maybe he doesn't do them all the time, but he does talk about rumors. Not in the most like well thought out, researched way, right? It's very loose, and so I get it. It's not a big thing, but the fact that you even talk about that stuff, if you're gonna lie, it devalues any point in talking about anything that can happen. Like there's no value. Like, and he's apologized, right? And I'm open to forgive, right? So I'm not holding anything against him per se, but I think after that point, like a lot of people follow beat 'em ups because he's the biggest Nintendo YouTuber there is, and they just believe what he says, even after he lied, right? And he kind of suggested this perspective on how one should understand a rumor and how one should understand a leak. And here's the thing: a rumor, a leak can be a rumor. A possible leak is a rumor, right? They are actually very
100%.
interchangeable.
100%.
If you understand the definition. There are differences though, right? A rumor is something someone heard. That is a rumor. It doesn't apply to just video games. It applies across the board to just language. That is a rumor. A leak is when information gets out there that shouldn't have gotten out there. That is a leak, right? And so if someone who knows things that are not supposed to be known yet by the public then tells someone else, that is a rumor because they heard it, right, from someone else, but it is also a leak, right? However, because it hasn't been confirmed yet, we don't know it for sure if it's a leak. So to call it a possible leak, to question if it's a leak, is 100% valid. It is not misleading in any way, shape, or form. So if I put a video and literally the title of the video has leak with question marks, that is not clickbait in the sense of me misleading. It's literally, hey, this might be information that got out there, and so we're questioning it, right? But there are also times where something happens and it's not really a rumor, but people call it a rumor. Example, There was marketing material for a Xenoblade game that recently got out, right? And it looks like a different version of Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are now theorizing that this is evidence that there's going to be an enhanced version of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You can argue this is a leak if it was unintended or a tease. People are calling it a rumor, but we haven't heard anything from anyone. This is official material that came out, and it looks different, and so therefore we have to interpret what that means. Yet people call it a rumor. And so if someone makes a video on this and calls it a rumor, they're not going to get attacked because people don't understand how definitions work.
Yeah.
It's not actually a rumor. It's actually a potential leak. Or you could question if it was a tease. Maybe it was by design. Maybe the marketing team intentionally put out marketing for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that looks different. That's also possible. But it's technically not a rumor because there's nothing there that's about, oh, I heard this from someone.
No one said anything about it.
It's just promotional material that got out there that looks different.
Yeah.
And so
you attach the meaning to it afterwards. Yeah.
I don't think you'll understand definitions is the basic thing here.
Yeah, no, it's funny you said that. Like, yeah, God. I agree with you. When I first saw that whole thing blow up, I don't watch beam ups either. Like, I've seen a few videos, and I remember from back in the day when he did that whole when he got dropped by Nintendo and then complained, and I think he was like, wasn't he showing people how to mod Breath of the Wild or whatever, and then got dropped by Nintendo, and I was like, I don't know. So I haven't watched him since then, but I did see that whole thing, and yeah, I was like you. I thought, you're confusing the terminology. Like, you can have something that is a rumor and and a leak depending on how it travels. Absolutely. And then two, like, I didn't think the what would you call it? The methodology, the theses or the test proved anything. Like, what you proved was that if a trusted YouTuber says something, they're going to be believed. That's effectively what happened. It wasn't that people took the words and added meaning and spread it everywhere. No, you
literally lied.
You literally lied, and you people believed you because, well, A, because you're the biggest Nintendo YouTuber. B, you don't usually do that kind of stuff, and and so you saying something like that gives you, gives people more reason to believe it. So of course, then that it's going to travel. So I don't know. I think it was a really, really flawed experiment, like extremely flawed experiment.
That's not really a true scientific method.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not a well thought out or a real experiment, but by any means, at all. And the whole fallout from it and everything. I don't know. It messed up a lot of people. It rubbed up a lot of people the wrong way. I think they were justified in being angry about it. Like, I saw Switch Force's reaction to it, and he was like, he was
not happy.
He was understandably agitated, to say the least. But I think he was right to be, like, for sure, So I'll say too much on that, but I agree with you. It seemed a bit, I don't know what the word is, a bit nasty.
It should not. How far all right, like, I don't want to get political or religious or anything like that, but just keeping a buck, like, how far gone do we have to be to not be able to acknowledge that lying is wrong?
Yeah.
Right, like lying's not good. Like, what that's a bad thing. You're being dishonest, and, like, if you're supposed to be professional, like, and your word then means nothing. Like, yeah. So anyway, I don't like it. But anyway, I just wanted to, like, kind of explain, because I feel like, if anything, I think that situation created more confusion, because what I just explained. Now people are like, oh, you said leak, go to hell. But sometimes that is the most fitting description of what's occurring. So now there's actually almost like this push online to say and do things in a particular way. We're being bullied from saying what's actually the scenario to appease the poor understanding of, let's call it, a vocal group.
Yeah.
That's not good either.
No, no, no. No, I agree, and I know. Yeah, now, like you said, like, a lot of people now, even content creators, a lot of people now are nervous, like how to brand their thumbnails and what to write on their thumbnails, and overthinking things now. And like, I think it never needed to be that complicated. It's it's like you said, like sometimes leak and rumors interchangeable. It's one thing before it comes out of someone's mouth, and it changes meaning.
So what I will say is this, though, right? You can leak is misused. I'll say that, right? Like, so, if I say, "Holy cow," the next Zelda game just leaked, and there's nothing in the title. There's no question mark, right? I don't put may or apparently or looks like. There's nothing about the wording that suggests, like, it's just matter of fact, this leaked. There's nothing in the thumbnail. Like, if there's no indication that this may or might have happened, or there's a questioning of it, and I just say something leaked, then that is a statement saying that something leaked, right? And so I think you can have an argument where you say, hey, that's misleading. And I think that's fair, right? But if there are indicators that you're considering it a possible leak, that is not misleading.
Yeah.
If you think it's misleading, I think that's a reading comprehension issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we got another super chat. Django with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Django. Hey, man, don't worry about the comments of the people who still can't figure out what the definition of speculation means. You're a gift to the Nintendo spec scene. Your hard work is appreciated. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Django. That means a lot.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Sometimes hearing positive things helps. Unfortunately, negativity kind of dominates the scene.
It does, man. Yeah, it does. Like, that's the thing. You can get like 100 nice comments, and then.
Well, the other thing though is that most people just watch YouTube, enjoy the video, and move on, right? But if you're mad about something, that's when you feel like commenting, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot easier to put in it. Think about it like this: Google reviews, right? Like, people, if you're seeing a lot of positive reviews, it's because people they're making a dedicated effort to fight that back, right? But in terms of like natural inclination is not to like write down a positive review.
Yeah.
It's just move on with your life. You enjoyed it, you will use the service again,
exactly.
Right? But if you're pissed, you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta get back at them in some way.
Yeah,
and
they need to know what I'm thinking, kind of thing,
Right. So there's more of a natural inclination for negative comments to show up versus positive.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other interesting dynamic.
But that's the thing, and you it's almost easy to forget as well. Like you post a video, you're literally opening it up to the whole internet. Like there's no filter. Anyone could come across your video and know nothing about the person that watches it, and so it's like you're literally just, it's like a lottery. You're just you're just hoping that you got nice people in your chat, and but like you just it's a lottery. Like, I've started the last week getting crazy comments. I'm like, ugh. The thing is, I kind of just laugh it off, but it's because I think it's easy for me, because like my videos don't do like your numbers, man. So I get less comments in general, but after a while, like, I can imagine it, like it would be heavy on me,
This conversation starts to get some more deep, right? Shout outs to Nintendo Prime in the chat and with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. But there's a whole other angle that I don't think people consider with creators, right? Like, there are some people who get mad if you don't respond, but you got to put things into perspective here, right? Like, the bigger a creator is, the more comments there are, right? Yeah. And so at what point does someone have to make a decision to stop reading and commenting on everything? Because then it becomes unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't be on your phone all day looking through every single comment and writing. You got to live your life.
Yeah.
Right? And so that becomes unhealthy. But there's another psychological element. it's very similar to, and I don't know if there may be a psychological term for this. I'm not a psychologist, right? But you're a product of your environment, right? The people you're around, you're gonna naturally pick up the way they speak, the words they use, right? Or even just like positive or negative, like positive affirmations, right? Like if you tell yourself something, you're more likely to believe it, right? Like that reinforces you, right? But on the flip side, if you're consistently seeing and hearing negative things, there's an impact there, right? And so if you're unhealthily reading comments all day, right? Reading one negative comment, another, no matter how thick your skin is, right? No matter how logical you may understand the situation, you are literally reading negative messages, right? Your brain is processing that, and just psychologically, eventually, it is going to impact you. Yeah. So it's an interesting balance, right? Like, for example, like I like doing live streams. I like interacting with the chat, right? I do. And I do read comments, but I'm not going to read the comments for 24 hours straight. I'm going to when I publish a video, like, all right, I'm going to look at the comments. I'm going to respond, right? But I shouldn't be hawking over that throughout my day. I shouldn't be like, oh, let me check my phone during dinner. Oh, I'm going, or like, I got to live my life, right?
Yeah.
So there's a balance. Like, you should participate, right? Yeah. But if you're getting comments all day, that's a certain point. You got to just move on.
I couldn't even imagine how, like I said, like my channel is tiny in comparison to yours, and even just like the last few days, like when I posted this podcast stuff and whatever, and I've been getting like a lot of messages on X or and I've been like replying to every single one. But it's like you said, like it's been my whole day has been just responding back, like I went out with my wife and we're having dinner, and she even said to me, like, you've just been on your phone, and it's because
it's dinner with your wife.
And it's like that thing where, because if you let it slip and you don't, then it's like it's too much, right? Then you can't get back to it. But it's not realistic to always be able to respond, and I can't even imagine the amount of messages that you must get. So it's
I'm still pretty small, right? Like Nintendo Prime probably gets more beat 'em ups.
Yeah,
beat 'em ups probably like it's like how do you even deal with that?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
right.
But it is difficult, and like you said, like on top of that, if you get negative messages as well, like it does affect you mentally. Like I've been thinking even this week, like
I like to talk trash, by the way. Like when I'm playing ball, right? Like there's trash talk, right? Like that, like that's fun. Like I like trash talk. Like I don't like babying people. Like but there's a way it's done, and there's a limit too, right?
Yeah. Do you ever respond to the negative comments?
Rarely.
Yeah, see, you saying rarely. Usually the one thing I do is like I'll add a couple of emojis underneath it with like a finger pointing up at the comment and just like laughing emoji or something stupid, like look at these clowns.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind if someone has a different opinion, right?
Yeah,
like, I don't consider that a negative comment. That's just a different opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah. Like
when someone calls me the devil and I should go to hell for doing terrible things to children, which that's just misinformation. Like
that's messed up. Yeah. Like I can't remember what it was the other day. Like like I posted, I think it was literally just like a comment about it, like like a silly comment, like a funny comment or something, and so I just wrote like piece of shit underneath. I was like, felt uncalled for, but like I don't know. It's what I was gonna say was that. With like, what the message that I've been getting the last few weeks, it made me think. Like I was thinking about Nash Reader, like this last couple of months, like I've released some videos or information about the last direct and this kind of stuff. And yesterday hit me. I don't think I can carry on. Like I was saying to Nash, I think if I even hear anything, I don't think I'm going to talk about any rumors or anything, as in rumors that I've heard, right? I don't know if I can keep doing it because it's too much. I said to him, I don't know how you do it, because it's like I just put out a little bit of information here, like I heard so and so about the partner showcase, I heard so and so about this, and like the stress of that, of thinking, oh man, I've heard this and this is going to happen on this day, what if it doesn't? like the whole internet's going to come for me, and that stress
Yeah.
alone. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm literally no one, right? Like I've said a couple of things, but like Nash is like putting
Yeah.
out stuff all the time, right? And other leakers like that put stuff out all the time. And this week, the last couple of weeks have been enough to make me think I couldn't do this for long. Like, no way. Like, I think I just keep stuff to myself because I do get messages all the time on Discord and and whatever X. Like, what do you know about this? What do you know about this? Is this happening? Is this happening? And I'm like, look, I keep saying like I know, like I have like one connection. Like I'm not someone who knows. You know what I mean? I have webs of
You
people.
probably shouldn't call yourself an insider.
No, not at all. Like, no way. Like, it just happened to this one time.
Got a good source.
Exactly it. And the stress of that makes me wonder, wow, like there's no way I could do this all the time. It's too much stress. And that's the thing, right? People hold you accountable, like if it doesn't happen. I'm like, shit, look, I've just said I've heard this thing. But it's funny. It's like the whole thing of being online, content creating, all of that. I think when people on the other side watching, I don't think they realize just the day-to-day of like, you know what, I'm going to make a video of like 3-4 stories. Okay, I got to research it all. I got to think of how I'm going to record it, edit it, make the thumbnail, get it all up, and then do the same thing tomorrow, and then plan a podcast in between all of that, and then reply to all the messages. Like and then on top of that, work or have family commitments. Or it's a lot of work. I don't think people realize just putting out a 10-15 minute video daily that's what it sounds like. It's like, oh, you're just making a 15-minute video. There's hours of work and then hours of prep before and then hours of care afterwards, like daily. Like it's a lot. Like I don't think people realize that sometimes. Like when you see like a lot of content creators, YouTubers or whatever, every so often say, I'm taking a break from social media, I'm taking a break from this. Like, yeah, because it's hard. It's really hard. So
yeah, it's tough.
Man, I appreciate it now. Like, like definitely see it. But yeah.
No, it's not easy.
It's not, man. It's not. I'll see if I can make it to 70. I feel like my life expectancy is just like,
Oh, I mean, hopefully it gets easier, right?
Yeah. But like, that's the thing, right? It's all the cool stuff makes it worthwhile, right? Like you make friends with other content creators. You have like your regulars in your chat that are super, really nice, and you get to know, you make friends, and and like you start sharing, like you start, when you stream direct, right, and you kind of share that with a community, and it's really special, and like, so, there's all the positives make it worth it for sure, but it is hard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think we covered it. I think we're good.
We got some good stuff out there.
Yeah. King of Lions asks me, Andres, are you disappointed with Switch 2?
Saw that. That's a good question though, because I think about that myself sometimes. In fact, like when you were talking earlier, it made me think, when we were talking about how much the Switch 2 might sell in comparison to Switch 1. And it's made me wonder, when the Switch 1 was out, everyone just wanted a more powerful Switch. I think probably even me. And then when it came out, and just in the last week, I've been thinking, like, if I could go back, would I want a more powerful Switch, or would I want a brand new concept with crazy gimmicks and a brand new way to play? Like,
yeah,
and accept inferior hardware. I don't know. Like, I do miss, as much as I love my Switch 2, I do miss that initial stage of when the machine's out and you're playing it for the brand, for the first time. Even the Wii U, playing Zombie U on 2 screens, or the Wii. Like, I do miss that, and I haven't got that with the Switch 2 because I was never going to, because it's an evolution, right?
Play Dragon Drive?
No, you know what? I haven't. No, but I think I saw you. Did I watch you play it?
I made a video talking about it.
Yeah, that's probably what I saw. Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I like it. Yeah. I mean, it's not like, it's the worst reviewed game from Nintendo this year for a reason.
I know, that's the thing, right? And even the fact that it's ended up being that, I still appreciate that, because it's still an awesome idea, whether I like it or not.
I think it's fine for what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm glad they did it. Like, I'm glad they still taking risks.
The whole online matchmaking, like, apparently randoms and like friends can't like merge. It's weird. So there are some issues, but like, just like the gameplay, it's I like the gameplay. I feel like I need to be better about. I feel like my movement needs some work, but
that's the You know what it is? I feel like I'm getting lazier with age. Like the idea of like being that active.
bro, you gotta fight that. You gotta
I know
fight that.
I do, man.
Like if you're letting it happen. You gotta fight it, right? The more you don't move, the more your body doesn't want to move.
It's so
And
true,
so when
man.
you start moving, your body's like, I don't like this. But if you keep doing it, it gets easier. Your body adjusts over time. And you can do more and more. But if you
honestly,
don't,
dude, man, like it's so bad. Like my wife gets up at like 6 in the morning every day, and she has like a Peloton, and she does like hours,
that's
like and exercise like crazy. And I feel so bad. Like I'll get up, I'll have like I don't know, I'll make a coffee, have some chocolate, play some games. Like my exercise is so bad. I need to like be more active. I used to love playing football and stuff, and now like as I say, when you're in your 40s, it's like man, you feel it. Like the tiredness hits. Like when I'm walking, I feel like I'm dragging my body. Like like wow, this is not good.
If you bet if you did more stretching and exercise, it wouldn't feel that bad though.
Yeah, no, I need to. Every so I can tell my wife's pushing me that way. She's oh, come on, your diet's so bad, and
I'll tell you that like because I don't think I'd exercise enough during my mid-20s. Right, in the last few years, I've been doing a better job, and like I still got a lot of work to do, but I definitely feel a lot more healthy and fit now than I did, in my late 20s.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think a lot. Yeah, like obviously, father time always wins, but you can do a lot. There's a lot more you can do. You can still be playing physically fit for a lot later.
What we need, you see, man, we need a Ring Fit 2. That's what we need, man. I burnt some calories on that bad boy. Damn, that worked. That got me shattered.
Yeah,
100%.
that was fun. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up because I know for you it's already really late, but whenever you're on, it's a good time, man. Guys, make sure to check out Attack the Backlog's channel. I actually have the podcast he posted today with Nash Weedle that has a whole bunch of interesting tidbits. We really only like touched on some of it, right? So there's a lot more.
There's a lot there
to sift through. Link in the description below. Consider subscribing to him. He's a great YouTuber. Talks about Nintendo just like me. So yeah, please do so. But we'll see you soon. Any final words?
No, I just want to say, as always, man, like thank you for having me. Like, I'm always super excited to be here talking with you. So it's a big honor to be here. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Hope you all have an awesome night. And catch me on YouTube, and I'll see you guys around. But yeah, just thanks so much, dude.
Yeah, man. All right. See you guys.
See you guys.